Wassalatu wassalam ala Rasulullah. Assalamu alaikum everyone. Firstly, Jazakallah khairan to all of you for coming today for this Dawah training course by the charity called IERA, which stands for Islamic Education and Research Academy. So it's basically a charity based in London. It's been going for about 12 years now. This charity is doing the work of Dawah. Specifically, it's Dawah to non-Muslims. Yeah, that's the main target sort of audience that we try to invite towards Islam, inshallah. And I've been part of this charity since the beginning, basically. I'm actually currently an outreach specialist. So my focus is on the Dawah in the UK, basically. So I do a lot of training, direct Dawah, like volunteer management, online Dawah. I manage an online Dawah team as well. We do like practical Dawah, which we're hoping to do here tomorrow at the mosque. We'll have the Dawah stall out in the high street, and we're going to do a little bit of practical Dawah, which I'll discuss with Sheikh Ashfaq. Is he here? Yeah, it's you, isn't it, Sheikh? Yeah. Sorry, so you did say, I couldn't tell who's who, yeah? Dr. Noshad, he confused me. So Sheikh Ashfaq will do the Dawah tomorrow, inshallah, at the mosque here. So we'll come back here tomorrow. Whoever wants to join, we'll hand out some books, have some conversations, just do some practical Dawah. Because I don't want to talk for like 2 or 3 hours in this course and make you guys go to sleep. I want you guys to get a bit of practical element and sort of join the Dawah if you can. If you're not doing any Dawah already, I want you to, inshallah, step up and try to join the Dawah efforts. Yeah, Sheikh Ashfaq, he's, mashallah, got this table here. He's done all the efforts to set it up, have the books, Qurans, everything's ready for you guys. It's just a matter of getting some more volunteers. And I'll speak later on in the course about some voluntary work that you guys can, inshallah, get involved in. Maybe we can take your numbers and try to see what you can do, inshallah. So basically, the objectives of the course, it's basically, I'm going to turn this so you can see the screen a little bit better. So it's basically going to give you the right tools and the confidence to do Dawah. You'll understand some of the obligations of Dawah, the rewards of Dawah, consequences, doing it, not doing it, a simple, effective map. So it'll give you a special tool. So if you've never done Dawah before, this is a good course to come to because it'll give you the basic stepping stones on how you can give Dawah effectively if you've never done it in your life. Yeah, which I doubt is the case because, you know, Islam is a big thing now, you know, being questioned by the media and people, etc. It comes up somewhere in your life. Somebody would have asked you something about Islam and you would have given some Dawah. But this will give you like a roadmap sort of tool, a technique which we'll discuss in the second part of the course. So the first part of the course is about 1 hour. We'll take some breaks. And then the second part is about 1 hour, and it will teach you the method on how to give Dawah, how to call people. So basically, I've got notes for this course. I've got a PDF file, all the notes. I'll share it with Sheikh Ashfaq, and you can get it off him as a PDF file. You can read through the notes. So if you miss anything, don't panic, guys. Don't think, I've missed a big chunk, I'm not going to understand it. It's not the case. You can just get these notes. You can read up, check what you missed on, and get the understanding of the knowledge. So it's a foundational course, as I mentioned. It's perfect for beginners, yeah, guys that have done no Dawah. So put your hands up, guys. Has anyone been involved in Dawah projects, Dawah activities? Yeah, Dr. Noshad, brother at the front. Brother, any Dawah projects? No. Okay, here's your chance to step up and shine, inshallah, right? So a prerequisite, obviously have a good grounding in the basics of Islam. I'm sure everyone that's coming to the mosque, you know the basics, the 5 pillars, the Tawheed, keeping away from the shirk, knowing the fundamentals of the deen. That's the prerequisite of the course, basically, yeah? And Dawah is worship. It requires sincerity and correct actions. We'll talk more about this later. So firstly, what is Dawah, guys? If I put it out to you, everybody in the mosque, what is Dawah? Invitation, excellent. Dr. Noshad, yeah? Anybody else? Sharing, brilliant. Anything else? Okay, so we've got invitation and sharing. So absolutely correct, yeah. So Dawah is to call or to invite. The invitation, as Dr. Noshad, he correctly mentioned, invitation. And it encompasses enjoining the good and forbidding the wrong, yeah, like a command in Islam, yeah. It's mentioned in the Quran, chapter 16, verse 25. So as we can see, the need for Dawah is very great, especially at this time that we live in. The media has gone on a rampage for the last, God knows, 20 years, maybe longer, especially since 9/11. There's all negative stuff in the media. So there's a negative picture about Islam out there in the public front, in the press, TV, newspapers, wherever we've been going. we just hear negativity about Islam, right? Not a good, positive picture. So we need to counter that. Yeah, as Muslims, we need to give this correct da'wah. There's a big need for da'wah. It's never been greater need, I would say. Importance of da'wah. So if we look at the Quran, very briefly, if we look at the Quran, there's many things in the Quran, right? It talks about things like what it doesn't talk about is things like the fasting of Prophet Musa alayhi salam. It doesn't mention this, the fasting. Or how did Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam, how did he give in charity? What was the method? What were the prescribed amounts? When did he give charity? What did he do? There's no detailed descriptions or the prayers of Prophet Noah alayhi salam. It doesn't describe the salah, the prayers. There's none of these descriptions. But the Quran is replete. It's full of descriptions of stories of da'wah. Yeah, many stories of da'wah. How did Musa alayhi salam, how did he go to Pharaoh? He went to Pharaoh with gentle speech, this approach. Noah alayhi salam, he gave da'wah for 950 years, open, in secret. Yusuf alayhi salam gave da'wah to his brothers. These things happened to him. All these stories of da'wah, scholars have mentioned it, maybe about 1/3 of the Quran is stories of da'wah. So the importance is very great. We understand this from the Quran, that it's a continuous sunnah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He continuously gave da'wah throughout his life, yeah? So this is something that gets us thinking that this is an important thing in Islam, very important, right? So why should we give da'wah? Obviously, the main reason is to seek the pleasure of Allah. Allah has ordered us to do this. Yeah, there's a hadith that talks about convey for me, even if it's one verse. So at the end of the day, if we're not going to give da'wah, then who's going to do it, guys? Is it going to be the non-Muslims? They can't really do the da'wah, can they? They don't really understand Islam. They're giving out a negative signal, some of them. Some are confused. Some don't know. Some have got little bits of knowledge. They don't know like we know, basically. So we need to share the religion, inshallah. So you've got to think about things from their shoes. Put yourselves in the shoes of a non-Muslim. What if you were a non-Muslim? How would you think? What would you feel, guys? If you were a non-Muslim, how would your life be, guys? What do you think, brother? At the front, what do you think, brother? How would the life be for the non-Muslim, if we're honest? Have a look around.
I think, to be honest with you, not really concerned for anything or anybody and just living day.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of just your own desires, your own pleasures, materialism, all these kind of things, basically.
Today matters, really.
Yeah. Live for today, isn't it? It's precisely live for today. There's no akhirah. Yeah, for a lot of these people, there's no concept of heaven and hell. It doesn't exist in their everyday life. Yeah, maybe if there's a good Christian and they kind of believe that there's going to be a next life, or some Jewish person that's a bit more strict about the Torah and the rulings, that there's a next life and akhirah, maybe they've got some understanding of the next life. But the average person, like our brother says, most people is living for today. They don't really have much God in their life either. Yeah, the average, say non-Muslim person or non-believing person, they don't have a lot of the God element. Not like Muslims anyway. That's what I'm trying to get you guys to think about. See, we talk about Allah, we worship Allah, we make dua to Allah, we do our 5 daily prayers, we do dhikr, we do all this ibadah, reminds us of Allah all the time, basically. Yeah, there's a constant remembrance, and Allah is very focused in our lives. That's how the Muslim lives their life, yeah? It's very Allah focused. But for the non-Muslim, there's a spiritual void. There's a lot of darkness in this regard. Yeah? There's not a lot of focus on God, the next life, consequences. All this is missing, especially if you look at the lives of atheists, people like that just believe that this world, a bit like what our brother was saying, live for today, this world is all there is. This material realm, that's all there is. There's no next life, yeah? Everything, we're just like matter in motion. It's all by chance, by accident. Yeah, not all atheists are like this, by the way, but there's a majority sort of trend amongst them that they believe that this realm, this physical realm, is all we're made up of. Atoms, quarks, whatever you want to call it, things moving around, whizzing around, atoms, and that's what makes up our life. And when we die, there's just going to be nothingness. That's what they believe, yeah? You're going to be worm buffet, yeah, in the grave, melting away, dust, whatever you want to call it, yeah, nothingness, just blackness. So, this is what they believe, right? And when you ask someone that question, like, in an open, frank way, what would you prefer? Yeah, what would you prefer? Would you prefer to, when you die, you go to a paradise, yeah? Paradise, a place where you live forever, there's no stress, there's no strains, worries, pains, illnesses, work, spitting, troubles, toils, nothing negative, basically. A utopia where you live forever and you have anything you desire and you see the face of your Lord, right? Inshallah, may Allah grant us all the paradise, Ameen, yeah? So we hope for that. That's our goal and aim. So you have that goal and aim, that aspiration, yeah? But for the person that believes that this is it, the other option, so you ask the person, so there's option 1, this paradise, or option 2, when you die, there's nothingness, just blackness. You're in the grave, like the atheist is sort of indicating or believing that it all comes to an end, there's nothingness. Yeah, you start at nothing, you go to nothing, right? If you're given this option, let's say for free, right, which would you prefer? It's obvious, isn't it? Only the rational person will say, well, option 1 is better, isn't it? Living forever in the next life is far better than having nothing, right? Because you've got this utopia, this perfection, if you want to call it that, right? For want of a better word, right? So that's the sort of thing that's going on in the non-Muslims' lives. Yeah, not all of them. Obviously, don't take it to an absolute extreme. You've got braids, you've got shades out there, you've got some good people out there, believers, they fervently believe there's a next life or whatever, and they might have slightly different dynamics in there, what's going on. But generally speaking, there's a spiritual void. Yeah, they don't have Allah there, they don't have Islam, they don't have the prayers, the ibadah, all of it's missing, right? And that's what we want to fill in with the da'wah. So there's a verse in the Quran, and who is better in speech than the one who invites to Allah and does righteousness and says, indeed, I am of the Muslims, right? Hassan al-Basri, one of the Salaf, he mentioned that this person is beloved to Allah, the wali of Allah, and is the most beloved to him from amongst the people of the earth. He answered the call of Allah and invited the people to the very same call he responded to. He works righteous deeds within his response and declares, and indeed I am of the Muslims. So you can see this absolute greatness to da'wah, yeah? And I want you guys to start to think how you'll get involved. And you guys will think of new ideas. Don't just imagine I've come from IERA, I've got all the answers. It doesn't work like that. You guys are the future of Blackburn here in the UK. You can think of new ideas. Coffee shop dawah, some new idea. You can incorporate it with like social drives, feed the homeless, give out some books at the same time, introduce them to Islam, interfaith things. You could do an exhibition at the mosque. Yeah, this is a perfect sort of building, the Blackburn Mosque here. This would be ideal for like one of our exhibitions. So inshallah, I plan to, when I go back to London, I'll talk more with Sheikh Ashfaq. I'll describe more our Jesus in Islam exhibition, or one of our Islam exhibitions we've got in the future. We can do an agreement where we give you guys all the equipment and you can run an exhibition here in the mosque, an open day, basically. So a bit, not just doing the dawah stall outside the mosque, but you invite non-Muslims in. They can observe the prayers, share some food, see some crafts, activities, whatever stalls you set up in the mosque. Make it a very open, inclusive, inviting type of event, an exhibition. And we've got all the stuff. We'll give you everything, guys. We'll give you all the matching books, the banners, the equipment. You don't have to do any of the difficult work. It's all been researched and ready. So you just set up this equipment, open the doors, advertise a little bit for the people to come, invite maybe some locals with your email list or whatever. You can invite the local councillors, MPs, services, police, fire, whatever, whoever you want to invite, whoever wants to come, maybe leaflet the doors. But just have this sort of dawah activity going on, inshallah. And we'll talk about the rewards as well. So before I go to that slide, actually, so what do you think, brothers and sisters, what do you think some of the rewards are for giving dawah? What do you think in your capacities, your experience or knowledge? What do you think some of the rewards are?
There's a was for the hereafter, so each person you bring to it's like every life we do for the sake of Allah.
Excellent, brother. Brilliant. That's probably a model answer, mashallah. So exactly, brother. It's called the sadaqah jariyah, the continuous charity, what you described. So once that person, if someone accepts, right, they start doing the worship, don't they? They become a Muslim now. So they're going to start praying, fasting, reading Quran, giving in charity. All that worship that they do, that new Muslim, all the worship they do, they get the reward for it, don't they? From Allah, isn't it? Because they're a Muslim, right? But you get the rewards as well. Absolutely you do. It's a sadaqah jariyah. It's an amazing win-win situation where they're getting all the rewards, not losing out on anything, and you get a share as well. So you can see the power of dawah, the absolute beauty of the dawah, why it was a continuous sunnah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because the rewards are like mountains, guys. As our brother described, the rewards are like mountains. Honestly, you come to Dar es-Salaam Mosque, you do one of your 5 daily prayers, so you're doing Dhuhr or Asr or Isha, whatever the prayer, you come there, you do a prayer, it takes only so much you do, right? You've got to make wudu, you have to know how to pray, clean clothes, direction, qibla, all these requisites are there, and then you get rewarded for the prayer. But with the dawah, it's like charity. When you give in money in charity or you build a water well, Allah rewards you when you're in the grave as well, yeah? So all the charity that inshallah we've given is going to multiply on the Day of Judgment. And this is what we want, brothers and sisters, right? We want, on the Day of Judgment, imagine your book of good deeds is being read out. You know, the angels are saying you did this and that and the other, you did 2 umrahs, you did a hajj, you were good to your parents. All these things are being read out, your book of good deeds. Yeah, and we're hoping our scales are going to be heavy on the day of judgment, right? So it's all happening. And then more angels come forward and read out so many extra good deeds. Actually, you did 3,000 umrahs, you did 400 hajjis, you built orphanages, all these deeds that you don't remember doing, but it's coming from your sadaqah jariyah because of the da'wah that you did. Yeah, you gave out 1 Quran. That's simply all it could take. Brothers and sisters, this could be the thing on the day of judgment that tips the scales heavily for us, inshallah, ameen, right? And it brings us into the paradise. Because we don't know what thing is going to bring us into paradise. Ultimately, we don't know what is going to weigh where and how it's going to stand on the scales, right? So you give out 1 Quran on the dawah stall, someone passing by, and they walk by, they take the Quran, but they don't read it, right? They take it home, they put it on the shelf. I don't know, 20 years passes, 30 years passes, they pass away, they're in the grave. They're dead now, right? They've passed away. And that person's dead. The house is now for sale. The kids come along, they're fighting over the inheritance. You know, it's all about dunya, money. They come, they want to take over. They find the Quran on the shelf. And one of the kids takes it and reads it. This happens in the world today as I speak. These aren't made up stories. Someone reads that book, that Quran, they go home, they accept Islam. Who was the guy that gave the Quran? It was one of you guys. Yeah, you gave the Quran. It was the catalyst, the trigger that made that person help them understand Islam, right? Allah is the one that guides, but you did the da'wah work. Yeah, you actually made the effort to try to bring someone to Islam. That was your niyat, your intention, yeah, to give the da'wah, to call someone, right? So, and then all the rewards are going to be there. The rewards I described. So that person now, you know, the son of that person who passed away, he's become a Muslim. And it's exactly like what our brother was saying. The sadaqah jariyah, you know, the rewards, right? So that person, say he gets married, yeah, he marries a Muslim lady, they have kids, they're all praying and worshipping, then they have kids and generations. It's like a huge pyramid structure of rewards, all coming back to your scales, all going back to your book of good deeds, inshallah. That's the power of the dawah. If you really give it the time and effort, and it doesn't take a lot of time and effort, that's the beauty of dawah. 20 minutes here in the week, yeah, you come to the mosque, you help at the dawah stall, support the brothers here, give out some books. Just be there, just stand at the stall, just smile at someone, give out a book, you know, a dawah book. It doesn't have to always be Quran. There's a million things you can do in the whole world of dawah, inshallah, right? So there's a very famous hadith here. By Allah, if a single person is guided by Allah through you, it will be better for you than all the red camels. So it's a very famous hadith. It's in Bukhari and Muslim. So does anyone know? Go on, Mohsin. Oh, okay. Yeah. Please, yeah.
I think one of the things when you give dawah is that you put in your own experience.
100%, yeah.
And one of the side effects of that is that you understand about communication, like how to talk to different environments, different groups,
Yes.
different situations, and that's very beneficial for yourself.
100%.
As you develop.
Yeah, no doubt. When you give dawah, you develop yourself as a Muslim. It's like reciprocating. You know, what you give out, it comes back to you, it builds you up. Absolutely, like the brother said, it increases you in good. Yeah, Allah manifests it in many different ways. There's so many blessings in dawah. We'll talk about some dawah stories and things like that. And maybe you guys have some of your stories or experiences. But does anyone know specifically what the red camels hadith is about? What were the red camels about? Anyone? Sisters, you can shout on the mics, or if you've got a mic, or just shout out answers. We can hear you from here. Or brothers, if you think you know, the red camels. Exactly, brother. MashaAllah, excellent. Mubarak. That's precisely the right thing. The red camels, they were like the red Ferraris of today, the red Lamborghinis, right? They were the most leanest, strongest, special camel that you could get, worth so much money. But the hadith talks about camels in the plural. So the rewards are manifest in a multitude, Yeah, they're huge rewards. Imagine someone gave you 10 red Ferraris today, each worth £1 million. The least you do is thank you, right? You're going to be overjoyed. But this is the reward for dawah. If someone, single person is guided. And remember, guys, let's not be hasty. That person being guided may happen in eons to come, generations. It might not happen in your lifetime. You might not see the result. But it is the result of your dawah work that comes back to you. And trust me, Allah is generous. Allah is the most generous. He is Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim. He will reward you. He will give you rewards in this life. As it says in the Quran, the rewards is of twofold, in this life and the next. Yeah, it's not just that we You know, we live for the akhirah, of course we do. We live for Jannah, but the rewards come with Allah's generosity. The rewards are in this life and the hereafter. So this is the incentive to get involved in da'wah. So another hadith, it says, whoever guides to a good deed will get the reward similar. It's what our brother was saying, mashallah. He hit the nail on the head with that hadith. Whoever guides to a good deed will get a reward similar to the one that performs it. Yeah, and this indicates that sadaqah jariyah, that continuous chain of charity where you get huge, massive rewards for a simple act of worship. And trust me, guys, da'wah is easy. Yeah, if anyone says to you, "Oh, da'wah is difficult, it's complicated, you need a degree, or you have to go and study in madrasa or someplace in the Dar al-Ulum, somewhere, lock yourself away for 20 years, then you can come out and then you can start giving da'wah." This is, from my experience, I would say this is from shaitan. This is shaitan trying to slow us down, right? To make us forget the work of da'wah. Because this is the reality. A lot of Muslims have forgotten Islam, they've forgotten Allah. A lot of Muslims, yeah? And if we're honest, the majority of Muslims are not practicing, let's say, in the world anyway. They're coming to Islam. I don't want to be negative. They're coming to Islam. There's a resurgence. There's a Islamic awakening. Islam is the world's fastest growing religion. Things are looking positive, but the grim picture at the moment is that Muslims are in a weak state, yeah? And da'wah is even less so, yeah, in the reality of things. People are demotivated and they're away from da'wah. The priorities are jumbled up, yeah? So we want to get the rewards, guys. We want to step up, get out there, get these rewards of da'wah. You know, be involved in da'wah as much as you can, yeah? So it could be like a simple conversation with someone, as I mentioned, giving out books, doing an event, like an exhibition at the mosque. As I mentioned, we will probe that idea. We'll look at introducing an exhibition here. Should the mosque be happy? It's an offer we can give them. We've got the da'wah stall. There's loads of ideas that you'll think of, inshallah. I hope you think of more and more of these sort of ideas. And obviously, for not giving da'wah, you know, there's consequences. Yeah, this is a very dangerous thing to be on this sort of selfish Muslim mindset where you don't give da'wah. So this happens with a lot of people. They're like a good person in the country. They go to work. They're good with their colleagues. They pay their taxes. They're honest. They're good and friendly, hard-working people. But they keep Islam behind closed doors. When they shut the door, there's no sharing of Islam. I don't know why that exists, right? It's just a sad reality in some people that they've got the selfish Muslim mindset. What we want to do is we want to be a little bit braver, step out of the comfort bubble, the comfort zone, and step up and give a little bit of da'wah. Explain, this is what I'm about. I'm a Muslim, yeah? Yeah, no one's going to attack you. Shaitan will make you think. See, what I get a lot when I do these da'wah training courses, a lot of people say to me, I want to give da'wah, but I don't have the knowledge, yeah? I want to give da'wah, but I don't have the knowledge, right? And the minute I hear that, the first thing that comes in my mind is shaitan. Because this is shaitan's trick. That he's trying to make you think that you need all these encyclopedias or libraries of knowledge before you can open your mouth. It's a trick from shaitan. Because for shaitan, da'wah is a nightmare. Yeah, that's the antithesis of his existence. He's calling people to Jahannam, right? The hellfire. He does, and we're calling people to Jannah, yeah, with the da'wah, calling people to Allah, to salvation. So for him, it's a nightmare. When we step up and start giving da'wah, he's going to start attacking you. Trust me on that one. He'll step up his game and he'll put in their stratagems and plans and techniques to slow you down, to try to stop this da'wah, whatever he can do, right? But this thing about not having the knowledge, it's again, it's your own wrong thinking. Yeah, us guys, everyone in this room, everyone in the mosque has got lots of knowledge on Islam, loads of knowledge. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, convey from me, even if it's one ayat, yeah? You know, Surah Ikhlas, Surah Fatiha, this thing about Islam, we know about Hajj and what is a siwak and what is this, what is the Quran. We've got volumes of knowledge. We just need to share it with the non-Muslims who are out there, who are in the darkness, right?
I guess people read my not get knowledge because if someone comes with like something to attack Islam, they've got the knowledge to be able to.
That's a good point, brother. Yeah. Obviously, I get your point. They're going to feel a bit unnerved, right? They're not like experienced in da'wah. They haven't got a lot of practice. But this course is going to teach you how to deal with that exact situation. So in the second part of the course, we're going to talk about when someone does come with that really difficult question. Oh, your Prophet married a 6-year-old, yeah? Or you don't give women their rights, yeah? You know, women inherit less than men. Where's the equality of women and men now? And there's many things. When someone goes murtad, they apostate from your religion, you have to kill them. Yeah, if the Muslim becomes Christian tomorrow, you have to take a sword and kill him.
We get it all context with
Yeah, exactly. That's part of it, but of course it is. Yeah? None of them are like the murtad thing. You don't just pick up a sword and kill the person now, do you? Now there's rulings. There's processes, there's procedure. You take him to a qadi, a judge, check why he left Islam. Is he sane? Why is he doing it? What's the reasons? What's the intention? What triggered it? What's the background? Is he agitating against the state? Doing it in a way that causes more harm amongst the people? Then he may be under the ruling of like treason, where he will be executed. It's a long process. It's not yeah, it's going against the state. Yeah, you can't just apply it in the UK here. Yeah, you can't just apply it here. You can't say he's now a Sikh. He used to be a Muslim brother. Now we have to kill him. It doesn't work. It's not like that at all. It's not. Islam never came like that, right? So basically, I'm going to skip a few slides because I want to keep the course to a good time. There's a few verses here that remind about the call is to Allah. We made that abundantly clear, so I'll make it clear from the beginning. Our call is to Tawheed, to that we worship one true God alone, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He has many names and attributes. It's good to learn these names and attributes for the da'wah because it helps you explain to non-Muslims who Allah is. The more you know about Allah, the more stronger the call. So I'll give you an example. If there's Christians, they talk about Jesus is God and stuff like that. A good way, I believe, to say this verse is weak and this is wrong, this and that. What we found, the research in our charity, when you show Christians that the Bible has got contradictions and weakness and falsehood, they then gravitate away from Christianity in its total sense. Onto the Bible and Jesus is love, Jesus is God, etc. So with a Christian, it's better to get them to think about concepts of theology, the Trinity, how it doesn't make sense, in a very kind of subtle way, if that makes sense. Like what I'll do with a Christian, I'll say to them, okay, you believe Jesus is God, what we believe Allah is God, right? And in Islam, or in Christianity, sorry, Jesus was born, even in Islam, of course, he was born from Mary, no father, immaculate conception, a miracle basically. So Jesus was born, he had a beginning. And then according to Christianity, Jesus died, he died on the cross. He was crucified. Obviously, Islam differs here. We say Jesus didn't die, this wasn't the case. But you as a Christian, you say he had a beginning, he was born, little baby Jesus, and he died on the cross. According to Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is al-awwalu, the first, and al-akhiru, the last. He's the first and the last, the one who has no beginning and the one who has no end. So there is no start and stop point for God. There's no birth and death of God. So Jesus couldn't be God. And on top of that, Jesus had needs, right? He had needs like air, water, sleep, shelter, food, all these needs, right? But God in Islam, Allah, is the all-powerful, the one free of all needs, right? So we don't say that Jesus is God for these reasons. But I wouldn't come with this verse in the Bible. It's good by some people, it's good, it works, it can be done. I'm not saying totally don't do it. But what I'm saying to you is, I wouldn't start memorizing verses of the Bible and stuff. Yeah, you can do things like that. Yeah, but I wouldn't make it a Bible bashing sort of dawah, if that makes sense. Your sole aim is to destroy the Bible. It's better to come on common grounds, where there's common grounds, commonality in the Bible. Okay, you believe in a heaven, so do we. Did you know it's described like this? In our heaven, you can see the face of your Lord. Yeah, that's the best thing in heaven. All this sort of ground is more stronger in terms of the dawah, especially with Christians.
give some interaction, some input. What do you think, brothers and sisters, are the key characteristics which are needed for the corner for the dua, the da'iyah? Yes, brother.
I think number one, you have to be very patient. I think when I went, I'm the only Muslim when I went to Islam. I see the presidents that are going on. Some of them they try to open what's happening stuff there. And sometimes even here, all the comments and marketing, so getting emotional because you have to stay calm. That's the number one thing. Because a lot of this is typical. What we hear on the news, what we see on the news is, if you get angry, you have to be very calm in your approach and you have to have a thick skin and not get offended easily.
Patience is very important, yeah. That's one of the characteristics of the da'iyah, patient, yeah. Anything else? Any other characteristics you can think of?
A lot of it is like you've got to kind of get on the wavelength of it.
Definitely,
You kind of like relate to what their point of view. Say you come from, and it links to your what you said a little bit. Where like say you go in because they come with a lot of almost random things. And
100%.
back. Get on the wavelength a little bit. There's a lot of similarities between what they believe and what I believe. And they usually don't know that. You get so understand that and then go from there. I think.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very important. So, like, what would you say empathy maybe? Yeah, you know, getting on the wavelength.
Yeah.
A lot of down is about psychology, you know, meeting the person, working out where the next step is going to be, being a good listener, that's a quality. Anything else? Brothers and sisters, any other? Yes, brother.
You know, when you ask the question, put yourself in their shoes. Having the idea of concept is what you want to do. You have to put that process.
We're going to talk about some of the mistakes that were made in Dawah in the last few years, and you'll see some of the things that we shouldn't do, or that we've done that we shouldn't do now, basically.
Having the attitude where you disappear with them.
Of course.
I don't know you.
Yeah.
I don't know you what to do.
Yeah.
I mean, what?
Like 40 and 40, yeah.
So the opposite to that.
That's one of the characteristics, of course, kindness, yeah? Kindness is very important, showing patience, yeah? It's a very important quality, which the hadith talks about. If you put kindness in any matter, it only going to beautify it, yeah? It's a very important hadith, right? So we should be kind and gentle in all the things that we do. People, family, friends, kindness is very high up there. So three qualities, yeah? It comes from one of the names of Allah, yeah? So this whole thing, I read a story about a brother that was very kind, he was very smiling. Yeah, he was at a Dawah school in London, handing out books, etc. Very smiling, smiling all the time. He's got that characteristic of kindness, right? He doesn't care what's going on. If it's raining heavy rain, he's still smiling and handing out the books, right? Smiling. So, and he was very funny, right? He comes to the store and she's really irate. You know, she's looking at him, he's pretty wound up, probably thinking, who's this guy? You know, he's come to this country, taking over a job, whatever. You know, he gets annoyed sometimes with immigrants. They come here, you know what they're doing, putting down, doing whatever. They get really wound up. He feels really wound up. So he was severely angry, right? He's annoyed. He's looking at him, taking whatever, not listening to him. And he got angry to the point that he spat in his face.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. He spat in his face, right? He spits in the brother's face. And he pulls out a tissue. He's still smiling. This is the quality I'm trying to express to you guys. Remember, this is a Dawah school. He's smiling before she spits. Then she spits on his face, and he's still smiling. He didn't get angry, guys. Okay, the Prophet refrained or maintained his anger. He wouldn't get angry, basically. And he kept his control. So he pulls out a tissue from his pocket and wipes away the spit, and he picks up the spit from her face. He gives her a tissue. She takes it. She storms away into the crowd. She disappears, right? So she's gone, you know, in a rage. She disappears, right? He goes home. He goes to bed. Some time passes, maybe a week or 2 or 3 weeks. He's trying to work out what happened that day. I went to that guy, that horrible Muslim guy. I spat on him. He's smiling. He's still smiling. What did I do? Basically, he triggered something, yeah? Which we'll talk about a little bit, right? He triggered something within her. And she became a Muslim, I guess. She became a Muslim, right? He went back to that same Dawah school, listened this time, she's like bemused. She's got the curiosity is hooked, yeah? She listened, she took the books, got conversation, understood, accepted, and she accepted Islam. And the brother said, these two are now married, they're
once you start on, they actually got married in the end. So it's got a romantic thing. You know, it's amazing thing that is. Look at the patience of the brother. If you're honest, brothers and sisters, who could be that patient? Let's be honest. Yeah? If someone in the high street spat on you or kicked you or did something, the first reaction might be like, why did you do that? Or some aggression or kind of like a surprise. He kept his cool, he kept his resolve, he just kept fighting. He just put it on the head. Yeah? He put it absolutely on the head, right? So this is what I'm saying to you guys. Let's never get aggressive in our da'wah. We don't ever want to get into fights. Look, these guys out there, the media machine has pumped out 20 plus years of negative images. There's a statistic years ago, maybe 5, 6 years ago, they said 88% or 89% something of all newspaper written articles about this stuff are negative. Yeah, it's probably only increased. So there's loads of rubbish out there. There's loads of confusion. There's lots of Islamophobia. Not lots of Islamophobia. What I mean by that is there's lots of like social engineering. I think that's been going on with the media, putting a certain narrative out there about Islam, right? The wrong picture. So for us to undo that damage, right? For us to step up, give the correct picture, have the good qualities. Now, what do you think one of the biggest qualities are that we need in da'wah? One of the most important, essential characteristics. You mentioned some of the top ones: kindness, patience, maybe knowledge, or other things. Good character. You're very close to the right word I'm looking for. This particular word. Yeah, we should always be honest as Muslims. Inshallah, we shouldn't lie. I'm thinking of a particular word. Humble is very good. No, I think it's the right word. There's not resilient. He said these things. I'm not saying it's wrong. He said we can all of these things. But one thing you want to focus on, you mentioned it earlier in the course, a little bit earlier in the slides. It's an essential thing you must focus on. Yeah, intention or sincerity. That's correct, sister. Yeah, the intention, your sincerity in the da'wah. That's what Shaitan is going to attack. When you've got to step up and start doing da'wah, that's the first thing he's going to come after you. He's going to come after you and try to corrupt your intention, right? So sincerity is number one. Yeah, there's no value in deeds without sincerity. Actions are judged by intentions. The hadith in Bukhari. There's a longer hadith. I won't go into it now. But it's the first three people to be judged on the day of judgment. I don't know if you know the hadith, brothers and sisters, have heard of it. There's going to be a scholar, a very generous person, and a person that went in the way of Allah. All these people that basically strove in the way of Allah, and they all claim to be genuine or whatever. Allah says they're liars, all of them. Oh, yeah, how do I stop that? With the TV here. Yeah, so these people will be judged first, and Allah will say they're all liars. They're all liars, basically, right? So be sincere to yourself, don't show off. Be sincere to the da'wah. The da'wah is not a game. I mentioned this to you guys earlier. It's not about clocking up shahada tallies, getting Facebook likes, getting name and fame, doing it for money. You have to purify your intention. Do it purely for the sake of Allah, for Allah's face, to seek Allah's pleasure. That's what you're doing. You're not doing it for monetary gain, for dunya, for likes, or fame, or name. All these are from Shaitan, and he will work very hard. He will trip you up at every turn that he's got. The first opportunity, he will try to pollute your intention, water it down. I'll do it for this reason. I'll get some following. I'll get a bit famous. All these kind of corrupted intentions, they'll come along very quickly, and it will just distill your da'wah. It will pollute your da'wah, guys. Trust me, it will ruin everything, right? But he will work very hard, because as I mentioned, da'wah is the nightmare of Shaitan. Yeah, it's something that he's working, and he's worked very hard to stop the Muslims being involved in da'wah. So be sincere to the da'wah. It's not a game. Be sincere to the one you're giving da'wah to. What comes from the heart goes to the heart. If you're going to be insincere with non-Muslims, at the end of the day, if they can't see that, Allah is the all-seeing. Yeah, He sees everything. He knows whether you're being genuine, whether you're lying. As one of our brothers mentioned, it, honesty is key in da'wah. Yeah, so if you're going to be insincere in that regard, Allah will see it. Yeah, He'll know what's going on, right? So let's not be insincere. Obviously, knowledge is another quality. Very important. Speak to people according to their level of understanding. Do you wish that Allah and His Messenger be rejected? Dawah is not based on ignorance, emotions, or unknowns. Have knowledge of what you convey. So even if it's one verse, know what you're talking about, and just convey it in a clear way. You don't have to give volumes of knowledge or dictionaries or whatever. Yeah, you've got the internet now. You can always follow up and help people. So just convey that little bit of knowledge. Yeah. And sometimes, like our brother was saying here at the front,
it's a bit about listening to that person as well. You know, the psychology, just being a good listening ear, a kind person, listen to them, let them open up. A lot of people out there are lonely in this world. You know, in the UK, there's a lot of loneliness. Yeah? It's not just like this guy has now reached an old age, he's lost his wife a few months ago, he's on his own. That's like old age loneliness. Today's loneliness is the young people as well as old. Yeah, the youngsters, they've got the Facebook, Instagram, all this stuff going on, social media, and they're in a bubble. Yeah, they're not communicating with people. Interactions face to face is getting less and less and more. It's more computerized and robotic now. Everything's becoming lazy and automated, right? So there's a new age loneliness, right? So this is causing people to want to talk, just a real person, communicate, listen to the problems, you know, have a good chat, basically. Be a kind friend. That's the key thing I would say in Dawah, is to be a good person, a kind person, you know, a person that listens and is very friendly. That's the key thing, right? So we covered kindness and gentleness, show gentleness. The hadith about it beautifies things. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was gentle with his companions, all the friends, the family, everyone, the stranger in the road, the orphans. Use emotional intelligence and empathy, as our brothers were mentioning here at the front. This is a key characteristic, yeah, emotional intelligence. Work out what the person's trying to go, where they're heading with their conversation. Maybe they had a bad day. Maybe they just want to be a bit argumentative, right? And it's not going to look like a good Dawah opportunity. So what would you do in that case? If someone's coming a little bit, not aggressive, let's say, but a bit kind of negative in their speech, how would you deal with that?
I would let them, but don't be a mirror, basically. Let them get it all out.
Good.
And then as soon as they've done that, they feel like they've let off steam, and then speak to them kindly.
Yeah, that's it. Just firefight the situation, isn't it? Don't make it worse. It might not be a good time now to give Dawah because the person's irate, yeah? Like I had a guy like that once years ago, and he said to me, he came with that line a bit like the aggressive lady. He was a bit like, he was saying, oh, you know, you come here, but if I went to Saudi Arabia, I can't even open a church, I can't give Dawah, they'll arrest me, they'll kill me, whatever. He was upset, basically, having a bad day. So I just said to him, look, I wish you all the best, have a good day, you know, I'll let him go on his way. And he was a bit like, he spoke under his breath as he left. He's like, I don't wish you all the best, and he walked away angrily. But there was no point me hammering home, trying to give him Dawah, because he's not going to listen, he's in a bad mood, right? And there's thousands, maybe millions of people out there that want to listen to the story, the message of Islam. So go to someone else. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't think I'm a good da'i just by hammering this guy and I'm going to convince him, I'm going to convert him. These are, again, little tricks from shaitan. You need to read the person, work out the situation, calm them down, and obviously never get aggressive, never get upset. There's no call for this, yeah? We're trying to be the best example to the non-Muslims, the people out there. So I'll skip a couple. So I want to get to the fitrah. So the fitrah, guys, what is the fitrah? Yes, brother.
Sometimes what it is, I don't like to call them the opponent, but you know, somebody they're talking to.
Yeah.
They pick up sound bites of knowledge. And sometimes what it is, they want to tell you that I know what's right. And it's like they say, well, I can't do this, you know, and it's like they want you to resolve the issue. They know it's great to resolve it.
Yeah.
They want to see you, you know, like struggle to try and resolve what's happened forward. Sometimes what I think, okay, look, living here in the UK, let's just deal with UK matters. If you're unhappy, why don't you speak to the embassy?
Why don't you speak to the embassy?
Embassy,
Okay.
you know, and have a chat with them.
Yeah.
You know, that's where, if you're that concerned.
Concerned.
About the issue,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, they're big talk.
Yeah, you said, right measure for the right person, isn't it? You know, give them.
Just kind of like, slightly nice moment. You know, I think it's one where somebody was very irate about something. And I said, well, if that's the issue,
Yeah.
I'll walk with you to the police station.
Yeah.
If you're concerned about that,
Yeah.
and you think somebody's done it right,
Yeah.
then I'm going to come to the police station with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Help, then that was enough to diffuse the situation.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That, you know, look, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
this is wrong,
Yeah.
and I want to try to justify it being right.
Yeah, yeah. This is what it's about. It's like psychology, being kind with the people, talking correctly, giving the right doses. You know, it's like being a spiritual doctor, basically. You need to just focus on the people very carefully. So I was going to ask you the question, does anyone know what the fitrah is?
Like the previous stars, like
Good.
you're born with it. So
Excellent, brother. Yeah, so it's an inbuilt thing, isn't it? Yeah, it's a natural disposition. Everyone's got it within them. when they're born, every baby has the fitrah to believe in one God, yeah, and to worship Him. So it's within everyone, but it gets clouded, it gets covered. So the hadith is here. It just talks about, actually, it's gone too many slides. It's this one here. Every child is born in a state of fitrah, natural disposition. Then his parents make him a Jew, Christian, or Magian, fire worshipper, hadith and Muslim. So the fitrah gets clouded, guys. Now the fitrah is very important in dawah because we want to uncloud it. Yeah, we want to uncloud the fitrah through certain things we can do. Someone hears the Quran, something happens, experience in life, they listen to the adhan. There's millions of ways that the fitrah can get unpolluted or unclouded, and that person comes closer to Islam. Yeah, we'll talk more about these in the course, inshallah. So let's go through the dawah downfall. Like our brother was mentioning, some of the mistakes that took place in dawah in the past that we've experienced. Right, before we do it, I want you guys to think now. What are some of the most difficult or awkward questions that you've been asked about Islam? We kind of covered some earlier. There must be loads, guys. Difficult questions about Islam. Oops. Of course, it comes up so much, isn't it? It comes up a lot, yeah? They say your prophet married a 6-year-old and they can't fathom this. They can't understand this. They're like, this shouldn't be happening, right? They get very confused. Yeah, some get a bit aggressive about it. EDL, for example, they run with a banner of this whole thing. There's different grades. But basically, it doesn't settle in their hearts, this thing about Prophet Muhammad ﷺ marrying Aisha radiallahu anha. Yeah, it doesn't fit in their life. Right? Anything else? Oppressing women. Yeah, you make them cover up. Scorching heat. We had a heat wave. I don't know, how was Blackburn in the heat? Was it hot? Yeah, we had it in London. You can imagine, even hotter in the south, right? So we had a melting weather, and then you make them wear a headscarf or burqa or whatever, niqab, and they're melting. You oppress them. You force them to do these things, right? This comes up a lot. I think one of the brothers had his hand here. 4 wives, yeah. Men can't. Women can marry. Women can't marry 4 husbands, for example. They try to reverse it. Inequality now again, yeah. They twist it a bit, yeah. Anything else? Of course. Yeah. And what does that kind of come under, brother? What does that? What banner is that under nowadays? Terrorism, isn't it? That's one of the biggest things, isn't it? You Muslims are violent, yeah. You say it's a religion of peace, but they say it's a religion of pieces, right? That's what they try to say. You blow up people, you do all this horrible stuff. You're terrorists, right? That's a big one, massive one. Anything else? Okay, yeah. Yeah. Like slavery. Slavery, I just gave it away. That's one of the big ones. Slavery is a very big one. You Muslims are allowed slaves, yeah. And the thing about dowry oppression. Against, like what you're saying, brother, you would say like oppression of women, yeah, and stuff like that, oppressing women, like our brother was saying. Anyone else? Difficult questions? Which one, sorry? What's zihar? Oh, jihad. Of course, terrorism, yeah, terrorism, yeah.
Basically, abiding by certain rules like not drinking.
Yeah, so no freedom. No parties, no nightclubs, yeah.
Why are you not doing it?
Of course. Yeah, like a boring life, isn't it? Boring life, yeah. Of course, all these things come up, guys, right? They'll come up, they'll ask you this difficult question, and you're going to feel hot under the collar. You're going to feel stuck. How do I answer it? What's the correct knowledge? Which verse in the Quran? You're confused now, right? And this course will teach you how to deal with that, right? So now let's just quickly, before I give you the method and how you deal with the difficult things, let's have a look at some of these dawah downfall things that I spoke about, the mistakes that we noticed in dawah from at least the past 10 years, yeah, at least more focusing on the last 10 years, some of the mistakes. So let's look at this scenario. I want you guys to think about this. You're on a break at work, and your work colleague John asks you a question. Why do Muslims pray? Why do they pray 5 times a day, yeah? You answer the question as best as you can, but it leads to follow-up questions. Why do you need to wash your feet in the sink? Can you not just pray them all at once at the end of the day? Why do you need to take an extended lunch on Fridays? This goes on and on until the break is over, and all you have done is answer question upon question. So what do you think? What do you think is wrong with this scenario? What do you think, brothers and sisters? What's going on here?
You have to break the ice a little bit, and maybe get them involved on what their beliefs are themselves. So it's just going to be like question upon question. Maybe get the conversation going flowing a little bit. Like, what do you believe about it? And try and go on.
Yeah. What else? Build on that, brother.
So like,
You're in the right area.
I'm saying just what I'm trying to get at is they seem a little bit even unnecessary questions, like as in why maybe direct it to actual like
That's exactly it, brother. That's exactly what's going wrong there. It's just answering question upon question upon question. There's no real call to Tawheed. Yeah, you answer this one and this one and this one, and that's the problem again with those uncomfortable questions. You know, age of Aisha, radiallahu anha, all these other complexities, right? The complex questions, they just never end. There's a long chain of questions, right? So this is the mistake that people made. There would be firefighting, answering all these questions, just answering. And in Islam, it doesn't really give the correct picture either. It's about submission to Allah, right? Not answering all this thing about this thing and that thing and the other. It gets watered down. So there was no call to Tawheed. This can happen quite easily in the Dawah, yeah, especially if you're in a very intense sort of conversation. So what we'll do, brothers and sisters, we'll take a little break, maybe like 2-3 minutes. We'll take a short little break if you want to grab a water. So Brother Ashfaq is pointing to the back of the room. We've got some drinks, juices, crisps, whatever's there, snacks, yeah? So please do grab some, guys. I don't want to talk for hours on end and get you guys, leave you hungry and stuff. So grab some, help yourself, eat whatever you want to eat. And we'll start in a couple of minutes, inshallah. 2-3 minutes. Yeah, of course, sisters. Maybe let the sisters go first. Oh, they've got in the corner. Yeah. Okay, perfect. Yeah, sisters, help yourselves. Are we okay, Brother Ashfaq, eating on our tables here on the desk? Yeah, so you can. Yes, you can bring your drinks. Grab your drinks, brothers and sisters. Get water bottles. Get juices. I'm okay with this. Yeah, Jazakallah khair. Yeah. You guys are happy with, inshallah, and that's fine. I'm going to try to end by. I want you guys to basically, I want to do a quick announcement, so I'll wait for everyone to come back to the seats, inshallah. So, brothers, if you can bring your drinks to the seats, inshallah, your snacks, inshallah, everything that you want to eat and drink. Let's resume at the seats. So basically, I'll give it a minute for everyone to come back. So brothers, if you can take your seats, and sisters, inshallah, if we all get reseated, inshallah, we'll look to make a start, inshallah. So basically, brothers and sisters, I want to make a quick couple of announcements. There's actually 3 announcements I've got. So we've got a Dawah stall here at the mosque every Saturday, 2 o'clock, yeah? And I want you guys to see Sheikh Ashfaq put your name down on the register that you'll come and give some effort on the Dawah stall, because it always needs volunteers. Yeah, something's going to happen. They're going to come out one Saturday. Someone's not feeling well. The stall is very low manned. You guys are the manpower for the stall. So come out, hand out some books. By the time you've done this course, and I'll share the notes as well, you'll be able to give the Dawah, inshallah, right? So come and support the stall. Yeah, 2 o'clock, Saturday. Anybody in Blackburn who's local, come to Dar es Salaam Education Centre, and you can be at the table. We in Ayra, we supply free books for the Dawah stall, Qurans. Just hand out a couple of books and just go home. If that's all you can do on your first encounter, your first occasion. Obviously if you can do more, if you can have a conversation, give out some more books, all of it's going to be more rewards for you guys. The second thing is, meet your Muslim neighbor, brother Dr. Noshad. He has got this organization where they're looking for volunteers. And I've got volunteer forms at the front of the desk here. You can take a form and you can sign up. It's another Dawah organization doing amazing work. It's been doing amazing work for a long, long time. Meet your Muslim neighbor. Another Dawah project that you can get rewards from. Opportunities are all in your favor, right? And the third opportunity, which I want you guys to try to think about, is the charity that I work in. We're also looking for volunteers. The good thing is you can volunteer for Sheikh Ashfaq for the Dawah table here, and just be on as an Ayra volunteer as well, just doing the Dawah here basically. So it's like a shared volunteering basically, yeah. And what I'll do, I'll basically get in touch with Sheikh Ashfaq, and I will ask him if any of the guys want to volunteer. Contact Sheikh Ashfaq, and I'll contact you guys, and I'll give you the forms that you need to fill out. Is an electronic form to volunteer for Ayra, so you can get rewards. You can be on board Ayra. You can get any training, webinars, all the materials, resources, books. We'll send you books free of charge. If you want a box of Qurans, I'll ship it straight to you, no problems, right? So you come on board as a volunteer. So try to step up, inshallah. Step out of your comfort zone. If you're too much on football, for example, or the PlayStation, or whatever you get your spare time, do the relaxation as well. But think to yourself, am I really giving back? Am I the selfish Muslim? Am I keeping Islam to myself, or can I share a little bit? Can I devote half an hour to the Dawah table at Dar es Salaam, 1 hour in the Saturday? What can I do to get rewards from Allah? Race for Jannah, inshallah, right? That's... Oh, you're not from around here? Yorkshire, I'm trying to think what area it covers. So what towns is that, sorry, what cities? Sheffield, yeah, there is a place in Sheffield, brother. What I'll do, yeah, there's a brother there. I just came back from there last week, actually. I was in Sheffield last weekend. And there's a brother there, Brother Zahid. He's got a Dawah store presence in the high street. He's looking for volunteers. So what you can do, brother, if you got pen and paper, you could write your number down, or your phone. I'll get your number at the end, yeah, and I'll drop you a message. I'll get you on board as a volunteer and link you. So you live in Sheffield? Near Sheffield, yeah. We'll link you that side, yeah. Or maybe you can start a team in Doncaster or something like that in the future. You need it. He's a big, yeah. I've heard about Doncaster from a long time ago, yeah. So, but we'll get you started in Sheffield, and one step at a time. Maybe in Doncaster you can start some activities or whatever you want to do. But there's definitely, you can join Sheffield. The brother's looking for people actually for help and volunteers. So that's excellent, guys. Yeah, Jazakallah khairan, brilliant, guys. So far you've done absolutely amazing. Brilliant answers. You're thinking like you asked basically. Right? You know you guys can do it. It's within you guys. It's a matter of bringing it to the surface. Does that make sense? Yeah, you guys can do Dawah. It's going to be our old enemy. Shaitan will try everything. Oh, you haven't got time. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be raining at the mosque. Yeah, your books are going to get wet. Don't let Shaitan build this plan of excuses. Get out there and try it, and you'll find the blessings in your life, inshallah, right? So another scenario, you're at your weekly Islamic awareness stall in the city centre handing out leaflets on Islam. A lady walks on by and politely tells you she's a Christian and that she believes in Jesus and that he is enough for her because he is the Son of God who died for her sins. You quickly reel off Bible verses on how Jesus was not God and that he was ignorant of the hour. So how is it possible he was God? You say to her with a smile on your face, how weak is your God that he died on a cross? What do you think is wrong with this? And this is how some of the Dawah was going on in the past. We're trying to move away from these mistakes. But what do you think is wrong? Brilliant, brother. Excellent. There's a verse in the Quran. If you mock their gods or do not mock their gods, because verily in return they will ridicule Allah. Yeah, they'll scorn Allah, they'll mock Allah. It will come back on you. Don't do that. Yeah. Obviously, we don't believe Jesus is the Son of God or God, but we don't mock. How can we mock Jesus anyway? He's our prophet, right? Or if it's an idol of a Hindu, we don't mock it. We don't make fun of that idol, right? To them, to these people, right? And make fun of it, right? So be very careful. Anything else, guys? Anything else in the scenario?
I think there's what the best way to go about that would maybe first present Islam to them, but then also throw a little bit to question the belief, so then they're aware and it's in their head to maybe have a think about their own belief while at the same time getting the message Islam as well.
Okay, that's excellent. Good. Yes, brother?
I think one of the things is to ask the question first. If you found out that he wasn't God, how would you react? Get a response from them
Okay.
and see what they have to say.
Yes.
Because sometimes that person might think, very upset.
Yeah.
Because psychologically, you're gonna be upset with some guy.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. But what do you think is wrong in this scenario specifically? Like, what's going on here? What do you think's good? Exactly. Yeah. It's definitely sarcastic, or like the brother was saying, it's an attack on their God. Yeah. So, what else do you think, guys? Exactly, isn't it? It's not very sympathetic, is it? Yeah. He's just going to push her further away. If you look at the clue is in the question, right? She walks on politely. She says that I believe in Jesus, or I believe Jesus is God, or whatever she says, right? She believes in Jesus politely. But then you go and attack her. Was there any need to attack this person? Couldn't you have come together on common grounds? She's a Christian who's polite. There's a lot to build on. You can give her good dawah. It's not good dawah, guys. Yeah, it's like an attack. Like the sister was saying, sarcastic. This is not how we should be. In our dawah, we should be very kind and open to the people, right? So this thing failed. This approach of aggressiveness never works, right? So now, what I want you, brothers and sisters, to focus on is how you're going to give dawah. What is going to be the technique on how. So we've spoken a lot about the rewards, how the qualities, characteristics, all of it. We've got you guys in that thinking mode, right? About the importance of dawah. Now, how do you actually give the dawah? What's the technique? It's called the GORAP approach, right? GORAP. We're going to look at this acronym, right, in further detail. So there's the acronym on the board, on the TV screen in bigger text, right? So G, I don't know if you can read it from back there, but it's God's existence, or G stands for God. God stands for oneness, yeah, that Allah is one, yeah, absolutely one. Revelation is the R, yeah, specifically the Quran, because there's many revelations, Torah, Injil, other books, but specifically the Quran is going to be our focus and drive, and prophethood, yeah. A doesn't stand for anything really. You can say akhirah if you want to include that. You can include it in there, but P is prophethood. So you've got God, oneness, revelation, and prophethood. Yeah, prophethood meaning all the messengers came, etc. So what's important about the GORAP, you're going to use in your dawah, if you've never given dawah before, it's very powerful. So use it as a map rather than a rigid structure. Yeah, so you can do bits of it. You might do the G, the R. You might not go through each and every letter like a robot. You don't have to be a GORAP robot. You just use what bits you can. So understand the concept and the steps. You don't have to memorize every word that I'm going to show in the slides. Make it your own. Mold it. Obviously, it's about psychology of people. I explained that. When you meet someone, connect with them, give them a chair, a drink, help them, have a smile, good day, shake their hand. Whatever you do in the dawah is very important. And then practice this methodology, inshallah. So before we do the GORAP, there's going to be what we call an initiation. And there's two types. It's either passive or active, right? Passive is where someone comes to you, you're in a workplace and you're not taking the lunch with the rest of the colleagues, and they ask you one day, you used to eat lunch with us for so many days, last 2 weeks you haven't eaten lunch with us, have we upset you, what's going on? And you reply as the Muslim, oh, it's Ramadan, I'm fasting because I believe in one God, and then you start giving the dawah. Passive, when they come to you and you react, yeah? And a lot of dawah is like that amongst Muslims, it's passive. But we want to be on the active dawah, where we step up a little bit. Okay, there's a dawah stall outside the mosque. There's whatever it is, an exhibition in the mosque. There's an interfaith event, coffee shop dawah. We hire out a coffee shop, give the non-Muslims free coffee and have a discussion about Islam. There's all these other active dawah sources, right? So somebody might ask you, or you might ask someone, sorry, excuse me, what do you think the purpose of life is? This kind of active approach, or do you know much about Islam? I like to use that line in street dawah. I like to say to people, do you know much about Islam? Or do you know what Islam is about? Or Muslims? I like to be quite direct. I don't like to go the long route, the purpose of life and this and that. That's all good. It's all a good dawah. I'm not saying don't use it. Use what works for you. Some people prefer that. Some people like the direct more direct approach. I think because I'm from London and people are more abrupt, yeah? It's very commercial there, very busy, a lot of other sources of dawah going on, a lot of noise in the background. So people in London, they like the direct approach. You know, what is this about? Are Muslims? Do you know much about Islam? And then they get bemused. They're like, okay, Islam means 5 pillars or whatever their answer is, right? And then you've got this other thing where they ask you a question. So it's like them coming to you, the passive one. Why do Muslim women cover their hair, right? So they come to you and they ask you that question. And then what's very important now is going to be your character. We spoke a lot about this. Patience, knowledge, kindness, sincerity, all the character kicks in, yeah, and the good things that you could do. So keep that at the forefront of your mind. They're going to be reading you like a card, yeah. They're going to read you very quickly. What did he do? What didn't he do? Was he like, you know, they've got these little radios going on in their mind that the Muslims are terrorists or whatever. This fake news is all bombarded in their mind, right? Then you come up with a concept, and this is where we talked about those difficult questions. You can sidestep them all, right? Sidestep the difficult questions. You come up with a concept rather than a direct kind of answer to say, okay, we wear hijab because it says in this verse in Quran and this and that. You answer one difficult question, they're going to ask the next one. Why can't you drink? Why did your Prophet marry a young lady? This. They're going to ask all these difficult questions. What you say is, that's a very interesting question you're asking. Thank you for asking. However, in order for you to understand the answer, I need to go over some of the basic principles of Islam. So you bring it all back to Islam. You don't necessarily answer that question. No one's forcing you to answer their question or answer that specific difficult question. You don't have to. You might choose to in your dawah. You might think, I've got the knowledge, I can answer it. But no one's saying you have to answer that one first time difficult question. It's better you control the dialogue. And that's what Guru allows you to do. It allows you to control the conversation and bring it all back to Tawheed. So it's a very powerful method. I've used it for many years now in our era. Because I find when I'm talking to someone, I don't know which way to go, this way, that way. What do I talk about next? Shall I talk about this element of Islam? Is he interested in this? Where have I gone? Have I forgotten this? Have I repeated this? It gets messy. But the Go Rap is an acronym that you can embed at the back of your head, and you can just call it up and steer them. You steer them in the right direction, inshallah, right? Then you get an agreement. So they say to you, okay, so do you have a few moments where I could do that, explain the basics of Islam? And either they're going to agree or they're going to disagree. If it was a dawah stall, like what Sheikh Ashfaq is going to do, the dawah stall on Saturdays at 2 o'clock, if it's the dawah stall and the person's like, no, I don't have time to, understand the concept of Islam, I would just gift them a book. Say, here's a book, here's a Quran as a gift for you. Please read it when you get time, and let them go on their way because they're busy, they haven't got time, and they've expressed to you they haven't got time. Don't do what, like with the aggressive people, don't put all your eggs in one basket, try to force them, hammer it. It's going to be good dawah if I convince him. Why waste your time with one person who said that they're busy? Yeah, there's millions of people that are seeking the truth of Islam. Focus on them. Focus on those people, right? We'll talk a bit about those people. Now, you can't always use the Go Rap. You might get a difficult scenario. People that just want a yes or no answer might try to come to you, yeah? When someone leaves your religion, you have to kill them, yes or no. Yeah, that's what they try. So the way I would reply it, a bit like what our brother was saying at the front here, kind of turn the tables, get them to think. I would say to that individual, what is your name? Yes or no? Or how many days in the week? Yes or no? So you get them to think now. That's not even a fair question. Yeah, politicians try this sort of question. How many days? They ask that question like this political ideology or this thing. They try to corner someone. Yes or no is not fair. So you wouldn't use the Go Rap here. You wouldn't say in order to understand the answer to the question. It won't work. So you can't use it in every single scenario. There's some exceptions. I heard you Muslims want to kill our babies. How would you react to that one if someone said that to you, that statement?
Where did you get that from?
Yeah, you'd question it, isn't it? Where did you get that from? That's nonsense, right? It says in my book, in the Quran, if you kill one person, it's like you killed all of humanity, right? It's a crazy statement. Which Muslims are trying to kill babies? Where are they? Give me their names, right? I'll take them to the police, like the brother was saying. I'll accompany them to the police station, right? This is nonsense, isn't it, guys? Right? So you got to answer it with a just answer, a weighty enough answer back, right? It's about putting things in the right place, hikmah, right? Wisdom. So basically, this is the Go Rap in a nutshell, right? And we're going to look and focus on. I'm going to skip this little bit of slide. The God's existence, the G of Go Rap, right? The G of Go Rap. So how would you guys explain that God exists? What would you do? God's existence.
I give an A from the Quran. So I'm calling from great Shane and myself, and you pick it from the argument.
Yes.
I go with the argument or Kalankas with a argument.
Excellent.
Argument contingency or the ones that we hear.
Brilliant.
But first of all, I'd go with the argument from the Quran first.
From the Quran. Yeah. You don't want to get into too much deep philosophy, but you've covered loads of good points there. So in the Quran, Allah talks about these four options, isn't it? Were you created from nothing? I won't go into the whole argument now, Surah Dur, it's quite lengthy. But the point, a basic point you can pull out of that Surah Dur is that nothing comes from nothing. Basic philosophy. Nothing comes from nothing, guys. If you say that to someone, it's very rare that someone will disagree. Unless they're like a militant, staunch atheist that wants to mock you or something, they're not going to really disagree. Yeah, nothing comes from nothing. Even a child will agree. No one's seen anything come from nothing, right? Somebody did try to, a long time ago, probably about 10 years ago, in a Dawah scenario, I said to this guy, nothing comes from nothing. He's agreeing. Then he went down the science route, the science narrative. He tried to claim that, look, in millions of years' time, science will eventually discover that something can come from nothing, right? So he said, so his view, obviously science is very powerful, guys, isn't it? Science, yeah? You can do amazing things. World's biggest library in the palm of your hand, the internet, a smartphone, heart transplants, space travel, soon be going to Mars. Science in itself is a powerful thing, right? In that sense, elegant thing, right? Even Muslims, we embrace it, yeah? We're leaders or pioneers in science. But his view was that in millions of years' time, science may discover that something comes from nothing. So what's the flaw in his argument?
I think first you have to question, where's he got this from? How does he know it? And then also go on to the aspect of, is that really what he's counting on? Is that what his whole belief system and his salvation on that point?
Excellent, brother, excellent.
You asked me a question, the question would be, would you put your life on the fact that God doesn't exist? They'll probably say no, so why would you pay that money? Exactly, guys. And it's in his wording, right? He's saying in millions of years' time, he means like billions of years, in the future, right? Science may discover that something comes from nothing, which means now there's no need for the God, right? The need for Allah is what they're saying. Science may discover. Yes, Sheikh Ashraf. Oh, they missed a bit, did they? Oh yeah, so the question here was, how would you... Oh, I see. Brother, can you repeat your answer again? Because you gave a few answers, but what was the first... Sort of the A in the Quran, so the A5, which is like the Quran's internal mechanism to try and prove the existence of God, or like A, just like at least one. And A is, I'm fully complete shay'in, I'm fully khaliqun, I'm khalakum as-samawati wal arda la yuqinun. Did you create from nothing, or did you use yourselves to create of yourselves, or did you create the heavens and the earth while you were not certain? So the argument really is, can something come from nothing comes. Can you create yourself? You exist and not exist at the same time.
Exactly, yeah.
And can you create the heavens and the earth? So let's give you that option.
Yeah. No, it's perfect. Excellent. So this is what the brothers put forward is an excellent way of proving that God exists. There's different ways we'll do it. Yeah. The G of Gorah, proving that God exists. Remember, guys, there's a few things going on here. Firstly, most of the people out there in the world, when you give dawah, don't think you're going to go through some 10-year process of trying to prove that God exists. Most people out there in the big wide world, Blackburn, UK, the world, yeah, they already believe in a God or creator, most people. Because you've got 1.6 billion Muslims, you've got 2.1 billion Christians, you've got 1 billion atheists. They're still a minority. They're a big number, but out of 7 billion, they're not the majority God believers. Most people you come across believe in God already. Does that make sense? They might not call him Allah, they might say the creator, the higher power, some being, God, the all-seeing, whatever they call him, they believe in this God creator being, right? What do you think is one of the major reasons for that? We covered it in the course. Covered it earlier. It's an important slide. The fitra, exactly, guys. It's already inbuilt into every child that's born to believe in one God. So it's amongst the people. So the G of Gorah, you shouldn't obsess or worry about it too much. I'm going to come with a complex, argument from contingency or something really far out just to prove that God exists. It's not necessary all the time. In most of my da'wah that I've done, I've kept it simple. And I find that more effective, yeah? These arguments are good. The brother's absolutely right to pinpoint them. Surah Dur, all of that is very comprehensive because it answers clever things. Surah Dur, like someone might ask you the nonsense question, which isn't even a question, who created God? Somebody might come with that statement. Who created God, right? What's wrong with that statement, guys?
It makes no sense. It's like asking, can the uncreated be created? Like,
100%. This is it, brother, right? It's like saying, who created the uncreated creator? Who created the uncreated creator? That's the definition of God in Islam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the uncreated creator. Remember, he's the eternal, the absolute, the first, the last, yeah? He's existed before time, space, and matter. Nothing or no one created him. He created everything, the whole universe, the cosmos, everything. He created it with no prior example, no teacher. He created when there was once nothing. He's the true creator. When we say the guy made the table, he just manipulated materials, plastic, metal, wood, whatever it's made of, right? So who created God is like asking nothing. Who created so created and uncreated negate each other. It's like asking nothing. It's not even a question, guys. It's nonsense. If someone said it to me, and this is in a friendly way, I would say to them, where in your house is the square circle? Where in your house is the square circle? So they begin to realize the question I asked was loaded, premise that I probably picked up baggage from someone else. It's a nonsense, non-starter of a question. So if anyone tries the who created God with you guys, yeah, you can answer it in that way. Where in your house is the square circle? Get them to bump out of their bubble. Because most likely, the likelihood is that they're just carrying baggage. They heard someone else ask this very clever question and they're carrying the same baggage, thinking that they'll intellectually give you a boxing match and defeat you. Yeah, that's what they're thinking, right? So, but the longer answer to who created God is a thing called the infinite regress. So do you want to explain it, brother? You can explain the infinite regress. Yeah, give me an example, like a worldly example of the infinite regress, inshallah.
a worldly example of infinite regress.
Yeah, like an example. Like we know what it is.
So imagine you've got a sniper.
Yeah, that's a good example. Yeah.
Before that sniper can take a shot, he's got to get the safe zone from his supervisor.
So brother, let me just repeat that. So there's a sniper, yeah,
So
and
imagine you've got a sniper. That sniper's got to take a shot. Before the sniper can take a shot, he's got to get the go-ahead from the supervisor. But before that supervisor can give him the go-ahead to give him the ability to take a shot, he's got to get permission from his supervisor. If that happens ad infinitum, it never gets to a point where that sniper's going to take a shot. So that's the fallacy of infinite regression. So this is like an infinite amount of gods forever regressing backwards infinitely.
yeah,
It never gets to a point where he exists.
exactly what we do, brother, isn't it? Look, the creation here, we're here, right? It could not have never have been this infinite. You cannot have this God that created the God that created the God that created the God. The infinite regress leads to like a paradox, if that makes sense. You know, a collapse, yeah, a fallacy. Exactly what you said, a logical fallacy. Yeah, it cannot happen. You know, you cannot get this. Yeah, the fallacy of infinite regress. Exactly, right? So I don't want to get into too deep stuff. Let's keep it simple, inshallah. There's youngsters here that want to pick up how do you prove God exists. Another way, guys. So you come up with some brilliant stuff, guys. Mashallah, excellent. So the design argument. Let's look at this water bottle, right? I know the sisters, you can't see it, but I'm holding a water bottle. I don't know if there's a camera showing it. There's a water bottle here. What are some of the designed features of this water bottle, guys? Brother at the front. It's got a top on it. Why? Otherwise, I'm going to get in trouble, get the imam's spot all wet, and then I'm going to get chucked out, right? So exactly, it's got a water lid on it, hasn't it? For a reason. Design feature, isn't it, brother? Yeah, water lid. A lid, yeah? Any other design features? Plastic. It's not made of, let's say, lead, which would be impractical now. As I put it in my rucksack, it's going to weigh me down. Light plastic, very light, yeah? Plastic, excellent. Any others? Yeah, the width and shape of it. Who said that? Brother, yeah, exactly. It's not the size of the table. And you say, you know, Tesco sells water bottles that big. How are you going to take it in your car? How are you going to bring it home? The width and shape of it, even the shape of the bottom, it can stand up, yeah, on the base. Any other? The structures, yes, it's got like this grip structure, so you don't slide out of your hand. The structure of it. Give me one more. There's an obvious one. Oh, instructions. I thought you said the structure. Instructions, yeah, it's got all the stuff on it. So it says here, this much magnesium and this content and this company and recycle me. Yeah, it's got all this stuff on it. Excellent. Any other features? See-through. Someone said transparent see-through. So you can see the level. I know I'm about half full on the water, yeah? So this is all features that are designed. So designed features indicate precisely, brothers and sisters, a designer, right? So a designer, creator, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Lord creator being. So you can bring the design argument in your da'wah. Yeah, look at the design of the universe. Guys, look at the universe. It's absolutely mind-blowing. Yeah, I think Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran describes it as more complex than even yourselves, right? the cosmos, what's going on out there. You know, you've got dark matter, you've got these things going on like supernovas, other galaxies. The thing is expanding. They believe there was a big bang, a singularity. All this stuff indicates this phenomenal creation, the cosmos, the universe, right? And it's in perfect balance as well, guys, isn't it? Yeah, the sun and the moon, all these things like the sun. If it's brought closer to the earth, we're all going to die of heat death, yeah? If you take it further away, we're all going to melt. It'll be an ice age. Yeah, it's in perfect balance, guys. If you look at the levels and the mathematics and the measurements are mind-blowing. Yeah, it's called, there's things like Planck's constant, gravity, strong nuclear, weak nuclear. These are all constants in physics. And they're at a perfect equilibrium definition or balance. It's a design argument. You can explain to non-Muslims, look at the balance in the universe. This whole, I think even Richard Dawkins said if anything was to convince him about God existing would be the design argument, right? He actually confessed that, he was of that mindset, right? So it's a good, powerful argument. You can prove to someone, or not prove, but explain to someone or highlight that God exists, the G of Gorab, through the design argument, the Kalam cosmological, what our brother said at the front here, nothing comes from nothing. All these sort of arguments, they'll all work in your dawah, right? During the universe, you know, we live in this Goldilocks zone. It's just perfect, guys. The gases, the cosmos, everything's in a defined, perfect balance or order, right? You can talk about signs as well, you know, to prove that God exists. You know, the signs in the heavens and the earth. You know, if you look at the sun, for example, we spoke about its balance and order. But if you look at this sun, they're all the stars are suns, right? And if you look at the landscape with all the stars up there, it looks so beautiful. On a Sunday evening or whatever, you just say to yourself, there must be a God out there. Or the sun on the horizon. You know, you see the orange and the red. You're driving or something on a train, and you look at the horizon, the colors, it's like a painting, it blows your mind. You're like, there must be a God out there. People have this realization. Non-Muslims, they have this waking up, this fitrah that's unclouded when they see the signs of Allah. Yeah, and there's amazing signs, guys. I was talking last week about the human body. In the human body, there's a part in the brain. They discovered it recently. There's a small membrane, tissue membrane in the brain, very microscopic, yeah? And there's an open-ended like nerve or artery, and it basically can drop a drop of blood onto that membrane. And what do you think this body is doing? What happens if you get sick in this country here? Apart from a free day off work, but what happens if you get sick? You call the GP, right? He calls you in, right? And he says to you, okay, what's going on? Yeah, this and that and the other, all this stuff, right? But then he can't work it out. It seems a bit serious, right? So, I don't know, you're coughing up blood. It could be COVID, whatever it is, right? So, what happened? What's the next step then? Good. Yeah, they might do all that, but what is another thing that they normally do? Which one? Blood test. The brain is doing a blood test on the blood content in the human body before even the doctors get the little tube and the injection and take the blood out. They've discovered that the body is checking the blood composition. That's what they believe in their scientific realm or theories or whatever. They discovered this discovery fairly recently. In the brain, they discovered this thing going on. So basically, you agree with them, okay, God exists. And remember what I said, guys, the key words in your dawah, most people are God believers. Don't think it's going to be a long process, yeah? My estimation, my experience of dawah, I would say about 60, 65, 70% of most people out there, they're very spiritual in this country as well. They'll sort of say, yeah, there's a creative being, there's a higher power, something made me, there's a God. They will come to that conclusion, right? Whether they're Christian or whatever they are, New Age atheists, they'll be different, right? But New Age spiritualists, they will be of that ilk, where they'll say there's a creator type being, something made me. They don't tend to disagree with the fact that a creator exists. So it's very flowing in the dawah, basically, right? So now wonders, how would you guys explain that God is one? How do you explain Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is one? What would you converse with a person?
Sort of, if that's right, apply basically.
Brilliant, brother. Excellent. Yeah, you're uniquely one, yeah. Or Ahad is uniquely one, yeah.
Say, like, if there was more than one God and they were both of equal power, they'd outstrip each other. So,
excellent.
Like, you've got 5 fingers, another one might have 6 fingers.
Yeah, exactly. exactly. It doesn't make sense that there's more than one, isn't it? Because they would outstrip, the wheels would conflict, isn't it? God A wants to make it rain tomorrow. God B wants to make it sunny weather. What's going to happen? The wheels are conflicting. Who's going to actualize their will now? Which God? It can only be one God. Which one? Is it going to be this one? If he overcomes him, then he wasn't a true God. Yeah, you've proven now there's only one God. It's that God that overcomes that one. He makes it sunny. Again, only one God. Yeah. And by definition, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the all-powerful, Al-Qadir, the all-powerful, right? So there can't be another, the all-powerful. Yeah, even in the linguistic definition, the THE, the definite article, indicates that he must be one. Yeah, the all-seeing, the all-hearing, the all-knowing. It indicates that he's one all-powerful divine being. And as our brother, mashallah, Anwar Baraki rightfully said, look, had there been other gods besides Allah in the heavens and the earth, both realms would have surely been corrupted. Yeah, this conflict of wills. So glorified is Allah, Lord of the throne, far above what they claim. There cannot be multiple gods, guys. It doesn't make any sense. Yes, Dr. Noshad. Excellent. Two head teachers, two managers. What's going to happen? Or two drivers of a bus. Which way is it going to go? Blackburn City Centre or Dar es Salaam? I'm going to catch Fajr in the morning. Yeah, which one? It's going to be like, it's going to be a total meltdown. Yeah, this is what Allah is indicating. And even what's interesting in this verse, had there been other gods besides Allah in the heavens and the earth? If you look at the Arabic, it's even embedding those gods in the creation. They're not even divine transcendent beings. Allah's already lowered them in his description. It's got a deep meaning to it. Yeah, in the heavens and the earth, other gods. You can't have other gods, guys. And most people I've come across in the Dawah work, they don't say, no, there must be 10 gods. No one really says that to me. Even Hindus I've come across, I've spoken to them, and they still say, you know what? What you have to understand, the Hindus, a lot of, yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say, brother. In their books, they still refer to one all-powerful being. But something like that. Yeah, in the Vedas, in their books, there's one reference to one powerful God. But unfortunately, like a lot of the masses, they're ignorant about their own teachings. And they've gone into this idol worship in an extensive way. India, these countries, even here, the Hindus, they're just obsessed with the statue and the idols. And they've forgotten that who the worship is for. They've forgotten what worship is, basically. They've gone into darkness, right? So,
with the Hindus, that was their culture. Because it's like the Brahmin held on to the knowledge for many centuries. Not only like recently now, the knowledge other people are like now learning some of their knowledge. So
yeah.
It's not like they're ignorant, that they weren't given.
It wasn't given the knowledge maybe in the first place. Yeah, that's a valid point. That's right. Yeah, there's a lot of, they haven't been taught correctly is what I'm trying to say. They're in the dark, basically. They don't really understand, you know. But like I say, most people in a friendly Dawah conversation, they'll agree. It makes so much sense to me that God must be one. He must be one. Greater being. It just makes logical sense, right? So now we want to link this God's existence and oneness in the Go app. We want to link it to the RAP, like a chain, a link, right? Because if you think about it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, out of his generosity, he's the most generous, he's the most kind. He gives our physical needs, doesn't he? Air, water, sleep, shelter, all the physical stuff, the emotional needs, family, friends, wife, kids, all of it is there. But what about our existence? What about our spiritual needs? Do you not think he would provide for that as well? What do you think, guys? Of course, isn't it, guys? He's not going to create you, give you a house, give you a car, and then leave you to run over people or kill people or rob people, lie to people. He's not going to leave you in a spiritual vacuum, basically, right? So this is clear. So this is the link now. And you can see these big questions that sometimes non-Muslims, they'll ask these questions. Is there life after death? Where are we going? You know, why are we here? What's it all for? Spiritual questions, will he help us? If so, how? Is there some way to express gratitude and thanks to this creator? These are the sort of questions that people are searching and probing. There's so many people searching out there. Why is there suffering in the world? One of these deep questions. This is simply the problem of evil and suffering. The problem of evil and suffering is very clear. So what they try to posit in philosophy, it's called theodicy. It's where the person says, look, your creator God, he's all powerful. He's Al-Qadir, he's all powerful. He's also Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, the most merciful, right? Allah's got all mercy. So then why does he send the earthquake? Yeah? Yeah, exactly, brother, yeah. Yeah, exactly. All loving. Yeah, we believe Allah is Al-Wadud, the all loving, but He's not just the all loving, is He, brother? Like our brother said here, yeah, He's Al-Hakim. Yeah, in the Quran, in Surah Qamar, verse 5, Allah talks about a hikmat al-baligha, a divine all-encompassing wisdom. So it's a perfect wisdom, meaning that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has got the complete picture, we've only got the pixel. So the reason, so as our brother said, Allah is Al-Hakim, He's the all-wise. He's not just Al-Qadir and Al-Rahman. They're not just His sole names and attributes. He's got many names and attributes, right, that exist. He's actually got an infinite number of names that exist with Allah. We have got a, yeah, well, there's more than 99, brother. One hadith, yeah, there's 99 in one particular hadith. Yeah, it says, if you memorize the 99 names, you enter paradise. That's the hadith. But in the Quran and the Sunnah, there's more than 99. That's why one mosque will have a certain 99, another mosque will have a slightly variant on it. There's actually more, there's actually an infinite number. But the hadith is saying, whoever memorizes a particular 99 is what it's talking to. Scholars have tried to research what is the exact 99. I worked on a book some years ago. I transcribed a book from Arabic and made a small pocket guide. If anyone wants copies, they can just contact IERA for the 99 names. It's a memorization tool that we put together. It's a nice booklet with Arabic and English transliteration meanings. It's a small guide, basically. It's got what one scholar tried to work out what are the right names. But the point I was trying to say was, if He's Al-Hakim, the all-wise, that indicates reasons. So that now there's reasons for the suffering, isn't there? There's wisdom and there's reasons. Allah knows why. Life is a test. Yeah, that tsunami that comes is there for a reason, a greater reason. Maybe there's going to be Hitler who's going to come from those guys, another Hitler, and was going to wipe out a whole country or start a nuclear war. And he got wiped out in the tsunami. All the ones that died that were Muslims in the drowning, where do they go? Straight to Jannah, isn't it? They die the death of a shaheed. Yeah, if you die in the water, in the fire, in these certain deaths, murder, however you die that death, you go immediately into paradise. So it's like a win-win. Does that make sense, right? So this is what you've got to understand. People bring this up a lot in the Dawah. Yeah, the non-Muslims, they're like, I would believe in Allah, I would accept Islam, but why does He cause us to get cancer and this and that? Why is there evil and suffering? The way I like to put it, and I like to bring this in the Dawah a lot, is to bring simple sound bites, right? Simple statements, because we live in an information age, there's lots of information, people get overloaded. So I just say to people, look, if there was no evil, you wouldn't know what good is. And every time I've used that line in the Dawah realm, in the street Dawah, in whatever, online, wherever it is, nobody has argued with me. Nobody said, no, it doesn't make sense. So even atheists, whatever, they can't refute that. They can't. They try to think about it, but they don't try to counter it. Yeah, they can't counter it. So keep it simple in your Dawah. Yeah, there's longer answers, there's shorter answers. The sticky ones, the sound bites, tend to be more powerful in the Dawah. They sort of remain in the mind of the non-Muslim. They remember and retain it, right? So we've got this link now, and the link leads to revelation, right? So this kind of spiritual link it's showing here. What does He want from us? Our purpose in life. There's things like life after death. He can announce our presence, explain His nature. All of these are the deeper sort of questions. How does God communicate these with us? So obviously it's the Quran is the revelation. So how would you guys explain to someone the R of God, the revelation, the Quran now? So you've done God, oneness. Yes, brother? Quran.
Just step back a little bit.
Yeah.
One of the things I think that recently, I know that I give some work, I'll share it. I think we live in a complicated society. Humans wouldn't enjoy society. And
That's true.
One of the reasons why we live the way we do it, the way life is, disasters and everything, life is complicated. And somehow, us as humans, we need
Complexity. Yeah, it's true to a certain degree, definitely. If things were just simple and too uniform, too simplistic, then it wouldn't be a proper life, isn't it, brother? It's like, God.
Thanks for answering your question.
Yeah.
Allah Azza wa Jalla created us. What do you want to communicate with us now? So how does He communicate us through the way we would know how to communicate? So to human beings, we sent prophets and messengers to our time, about people at their time. We sent Prophet Muhammad
So,
to our people at our time.
exactly.
All time.
Yes. Yeah. That's excellent. Yeah, brilliant. So revelation, Quran now specifically. Yeah, that's all very relevant.
I think a lot of it is about. I think a lot's demonstrating how the teachings of Islam, a lot of non-Muslims don't know this thing. It's so contrary to like the goodness that it brings. demonstrating how all the poisons that are in like a lot of Western societies are often resolved by Islam.
Good, because the Quran's got that in there, hasn't it, brother? The Quran, like Allah says in the Quran, Surah Baqarah, do not drink, do not gamble, shun these things, yeah. Yeah, Hamza Maya is always talking about the 5 poisons, yeah. And the Quran counters that, doesn't it? Gambling, interest, alcohol, drugs, yeah, all the haram things, sexual immorality, all these are in the Quran and they're countered, right? So that's a good way of explaining the Quran. That's excellent. Yeah.
From this kind of society, are often affected by these kind of things. So
it's common. It's common. Yeah.
So I think
that's an excellent way, brother. Excellent. Dr. Noshat?
I was just thinking, a Quran, we can look at it as an instruction manual.
Excellent. Excellent. Yes.
Mobile phone.
Yes.
You need an instruction manual.
Okay.
How that the equipment works and things like that.
Yes.
And suppose a customer service personnel is also given to you, comes up to your house and explains the whole thing to you. What common stars will you use?
Of course.
So that's what Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu
Yeah.
who has come to this humanity to help us benefit.
Yes.
And translate.
Yeah.
Those instruction manuals.
Yeah.
To practical.
Brilliant. So did everyone get that? I'll just repeat what Dr. Noshat said. It's a good little role play you can do with non-Muslims. Every time you buy a gadget, laptop, TV, smartphone, PS4, whatever these gadgets are, every time you buy a gadget, you get an instruction manual with the gadget. A small booklet. It tells you the do's and don'ts. Do not charge like this. Do not expose to this wetness, humidity, temperature. All the do's and don'ts, how to use is in there. The Quran is an instruction manual for human beings. Does that make sense, everyone, what I'm saying, yeah? Brilliant, easy, little story for a non-Muslim. It clicks in their mind, they walk away. See, these guys, they've never read the Quran. Do you expect a non-Muslim to know Arabic, even read the real Quran? Because when I say Quran, I'm talking about the Mus'haf, the real book. That is the Quran, not the English translated meanings of the Quran. That's a different level, right? So now they've got this understanding. They're like, okay, so it's an instruction manual for human beings. Yes, it's got do's and don'ts. Do not lie, steal, cheat, drink alcohol, gamble, be good to the orphans, your neighbors, your parents. All the do's and don'ts are in there, but it's full of other stuff as well. Obviously, you explain you add meat to the bones, right? You explain the Quran. See, there's a guy out there on YouTube somewhere that I watched a video years ago, and this man, he's an ordinary guy, and he basically said, you know what, I live an ordinary life, but every time I do this one thing, I feel peace in my life that I get from nothing else in my life. He's got family, he's got job, he's paying the bills, he's doing work, whatever. He goes to his skybox, he puts on the satellite channel, and he's got on there the Quran channel. And when he listens to it, he says he gets a feeling of peace that he gets from nothing else in his life. That's why in the Dawah, what I always suggest to people, I recommend it, wherever you can, bring as much Quran as possible. I don't literally mean give out Qurans to every single person, because it might go in the bin, they might not read it. Be strategic, but wherever you can, like get an audio box for the Dawah table. I know a good place on Amazon where you can get a small speaker box and play the Quran gently in the background. Let the people listen, because the impact of the Quran is amazing. I think it's Surah Nur. Surah Nur, Allah talks about Nuran ala Nur. It's basically the revelation, the Quran impacting the fitrah. So it unclouds the fitrah. That's the power of the Quran. Even in the English translated meanings, I wasn't being derogatory or mocking the English translated meanings. That is a very powerful thing. Even in my own story, when 26 years ago, I was in university and not practicing Islam. Never prayed 5 times a day in my life, ever. I was keeping a fasting, but a very bad version of fasting, of course, right? Just wanted to know when is fasting breaking, right? So I went to the ISOC, I picked up a timetable like you get in the mosque, these timetables, and it had on there the time for Maghrib, sunset, whatever, but it also had a verse of the Quran, one small verse in Arabic and English. And I read that verse of the Quran, and it transformed me from being someone that has never wanted to pray, never practiced Islam. It was a main trigger. I wouldn't lie and say it's the only thing in my life. There was other external stimuli and factors going on. There always is. We don't live in a channel. There's many things going on in life, right? People see media, there's family, there's relationships, everything going on. But this one thing triggered me immensely. It had an impact, and I changed from that day and became a person that's practicing. One English translated verse of the Quran, absolutely in English because I couldn't understand the Arabic, and it transformed. That's the power of the Quran in the Dawah. It's amazing, guys. So Quran, I can speak for hours and hours. There's no time to cover how much importance there is of the Quran in your Dawah. Just absolutely wherever you can, whenever you can, bring the audio, bring the written. You can explain to people how it's preserved. a chapter like it. You cannot imitate it. A clear message of who God is, that He's one God. It doesn't say on one page in the Quran that He's three, and then it says on the next page that He's one. Universal message. It's for all people. This is the Quran, guys. Super powerful in the Dawah. Always really just bring the Quran wherever you can. Now I want to move on to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There's three situations. Either he was lying, deluded, or truthful. I think Hamza Mayat brings a fourth one or something, that he was both or something. I'm not sure. Yes, brother. Yes.
Yeah, we've often talked about power in the heart, and he always mentioned that, always brings to our
Yes. Excellent. Definitely. He's a man after my heart. Yeah, definitely. I mean, the Quran is.
No, I'm talking about a friend of mine that's named after the Prophet.
Oh, okay. Absolutely. Okay, so basically, so either he was lying, he was deluded, or he was truthful, right? So there's deceit. That's right. Yeah. So in this case, we're looking at three possibilities. So why could he have not been labeled a liar, guys? What do you think, brothers and sisters? Exactly. What were you going to say, brother?
I know that basically there was a couple of months ago we mentioned it, that even one of the Jews, why they never accepted Islam, because he was an Arab, right? And he said that when the Prophet, or maybe a Prophet, would sit on the set tree.
Okay.
So someone from another religion, they knew as well that
Yes.
this was going to come down.
Yes.
So that's one reason why he couldn't get later.
Excellent. Let's hold these thoughts, right? So the brother was saying here, one of the nicknames of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was Sadiq al-Amin. Yeah, even before revelation, he was known as a trustworthy. He never spoke a lie. He was the honest one, the trusted. People would leave valuables with him, then they would be returned. They knew it was in good hands, safe hands, right? So he was Sadiq al-Amin, the trustworthy. He was the truthful one, yeah? He never spoke a lie. We know this, right? And I'll give you a longer explanation why he could not have been a liar in a minute, yeah? But the short one is this nickname. Because on one hand, he's the most documented man in history. Yeah, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the most documented man in history. There's no indication of any lie in his life at all. Nothing, no lies at all, right? And where in the documentation, it becomes quite apparent and clear who is a liar. Does that make sense? They do it for reasons or whatever. And he was offered all these things, the dunya, the riches, everything valuable. He was offered these things and he refused them. He carried on the message, right? Deluded means that you speak falsehood, but you think it's true. So you speak falsehood, thinking it's the truth. Now, can you give me a reason why he could not have been deluded?
What he was saying was like, what's the word, like it's actually like legal rulings and things like that.
Good. So what do we have today from that legal ruling? What's with us?
So we have like Sharia.
Yeah, the Quran, isn't it? Yeah, the Quran. So look, yeah, if the Quran would be full of contradictions, isn't it? The Quran would be full of one verse would say don't drink, the next verse would say you can drink. It would be a book full of inconsistencies and nonsense and what's the word? When you have contradictions, right? There's nothing unclear in the Quran. It brings nothing but coherency. A revelation over 23 years. If he was speaking falsehood, it would be full of falsehood, and the results would be falsehood. You'd see chaos in the world. Muslims would be drinking. I mean, I know they drink, but I'm saying they would, as a unified body, they're the most teetotalers, right? They're the body that are most unified to not drink, right? But this rule wouldn't exist if that makes sense, So this is the point. He was not deluded. Can anyone think of any other reason why he couldn't have been deluded? Another sort of evidence, if that makes sense. Another sort of proof. Yes, brother.
Okay. Understanding the word deluded and what it actually means. So say something was deluded, like say, let's take an example of fishing. Let's say somebody said they caught a shark in the canal.
Yeah.
Okay. We know from information available to us that sharks don't live in canals. That's the wrong habitat for them.
Exactly, yeah.
So when you give an example, like that,
Yeah.
Okay, let's analyze what the Prophet actually did say.
Yeah.
Okay, but was it actually turned out to be correct?
Good. So what is that? What are we talking about then, brother? What I'm looking for a particular word. There's one word I'm looking for. Something that he kind of is excellent behavior, excellent sister. Yeah, that comes in. That you can link that to the Quran, the Wahi. His character was the Quran. All of that is kind of pertaining to character Quran. That's one area. But there's one specific thing that he did.
Is it the word factual?
Is it what? Sorry.
The
No, not factual, no. But you pinpointed the right kind of thing. It's just one word that kind of summarizes what you're kind of heading in the direction of. It's something that he did or said is the clue. I don't want to give it away. Prophecies, brother. Prophecies, exactly. He prophesied things that now are coming true. If it was delusions, delusionally crazy, right? He's speaking falsehood, thinking it's true. If it's delusions, then none of these prophecies would add up or make sense. He prophesied very accurate things, right? Like, for example, in the slide, yeah, like, for example, this big tall buildings that you see in UAE, Burj Khalifa, he predicted that the barefooted, unclothed Bedouins competing in the construction of tall buildings, right? That was the prophecy. So what happened now, that was at the time of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ when he was alive, right? Now we've got the people in UAE in the just recent times, 70s, 80s, the oil came along, you know, the black gold, it came along, it allowed them to construct these massive buildings, right? And they were like people in desert tents, they were the Bedouins, barefooted Bedouins. Exactly, brothers. If you research this stuff, if you look into it, the specific nature of it, how specific it is, it's super accurate, guys, to the point where when it was being said, when Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was saying these kind of things, right, when he was saying, you know, we're talking about Bedouins building buildings that are super tall, like taller than mountains, let's say, right, or very tall. Do you know how people would build buildings at the time of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, some of the Bedouins, how they would build their buildings? Straw, mud, whatever, yeah, but how specifically were they building them? Yeah, underground, because it's cooler. They were built into the floor, into the ground, basement type structures, right? So now Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is saying that these people are going to build that way, not down, right? So people were shocked, yeah, that these things are like, this is impossible. These guys don't even know how to construct scaffolding, nothing tall. They can't make these things, right? But they're going to make these massive tall buildings, and it's coming true now. Now we're seeing these prophecies. So no way could he have been deluded. No way was there falsehood. It's the polar opposite. Only truthfulness came out of it, right? And what I want to do now is a very quick, like, social experiment. I want you guys to tell me, give me a proof that your mother is your mother. And I'll prove to you guys that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ could not have been a liar. So prove to me that your mother is your mother. Give me some actual evidence. Your mother is your mother. Well, you can't, but you can. You can give a certain type of...
DNA.
Yeah, DNA. Okay, so you've got DNA. Anything else?
Yeah, we've got like
Doctor said, mother said, father said, or whatever. Yeah, so people said. Or DNA, people said. Yeah, doctor said. The way you look, okay. Characteristics or features, yeah. Anything else?
She knows certain things that, you know, no one else may know in the world. Like, she knows certain things that, you know, for example, yeah, like, what is it allergic to?
Yeah, but that doesn't prove that it's your mother, does it? Because someone else might research those things, right? But it's going to be, the reality of this social media experiment is that you'll only come up with about 7 things, maybe 8 of these points, right? Maximum. And this has been done many times, this little game or experiment, right? So you've got DNA, someone told me doctor, mother or father or whatever, doctor at the hospital. What else did you guys say? You said, you haven't said it yet, but you kind of hinted to it with the facial features. The video evidence or photographs when you were born, or video was taken, yeah, when you came out of the baby, came out of the stomach, right? Another one could be birth certificate. It proves it on there, yeah? But what are all these things, guys? What type of knowledge are all of these? They're all the same type of knowledge. There's one type of word I'm looking for. They all come under one camp of knowledge. And most of our knowledge comes from this camp. Most of our knowledge comes from this thing, this source of knowledge.
Like belief.
Yeah, it's like belief, but it starts with T. I know you know. I know you know. Testimonial, exactly. Yeah, testimonial is testimony, isn't it? When we say DNA, you can't do the DNA test yourself, but if you know someone that can, again, it's testimony. It's the say-so of this guy, right? And you can't do the experiments, but someone taught you how to do them. Again, it's testimony. Yeah, the birth certificate, written testimony, it could be made-up document, right? All of it's testimony. I won't go through them all, but even the video evidence is a bit nonsense now, isn't it? Not nonsense, but again, it's testimony because someone's telling you that little thing coming out covered in blood, that's you when you were born, that's your mother, and that's you, you know. It's testimony, someone telling you, because it could be any child coming out. There's no proof that it's you. It doesn't look, you know, you grown up now with a big beard and a thobe coming in the mosque, right, to pray. It doesn't mean that you were the babies. But the point I'm saying is 99% of our knowledge comes from testimony. 99%, right? It comes from testimony. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you know the science of hadith, right? So this is the longer answer now. The short answer you can give someone is, you know, he was Sadiq al-Amin. There's no evidence of him lying, right? He was the trustworthy one. But the isnad, exactly what I was going to say. The science of hadith is talks about the isnad, the chains of narrators. Was their memory good? Were they honest? There's a whole corpus of encyclopedic knowledge based around the testimony of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Does that make sense? It's so much more robust than the fact that your mother's your mother. So if you're going to deny that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was truthful, you have to by default deny that your mother's your mother. You have to by default. You have to say, because there's only 7 for the mother, but for the whole science of hadith, there's millions, maybe millions of evidence. I mean, not millions of people, but there's the amount of evidence, the hadith, the matan, everything. The whole science of hadith is very deep, very powerful. It's a super powerful testimonial structure, yeah, whether it's oral, written, whatever form, is there in a super powerful way. So do you see how he could not have been a liar? Yeah, because in all that science of hadith and all, as I explained earlier, in all the hadith, there's no indication that he ever spoke a lie. But the robustness of it, yeah, according to Islamic history, it is, I can't say infinitely, but it's multitude times more robust than this, your mother is your mother, right? But the thing you want to bring in prophethood as well is the simple fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent many messengers. Many prophets came with the same message. Bring that in your da'wah as well, because it clarifies about Judaism, things that came before Christianity. It kind of clears the air and makes things clear, right? So I think one of the sisters here, she mentioned about his character and his honesty and trustworthy. All of this comes in it. You know, he looked after the orphans, the elderly. All of this you can bring in your da'wah. There's loads we can talk about, guys. There's no lack of knowledge. We can explain clearly. So now finally, we move on. We've got the shahada. So this is the point where someone wants to, you know, accept Islam. So what would you guys do? Someone, you've been giving them da'wah and they're close to accepting, or they feel like they want to accept. What would you actually say? What would you do? Good, good, excellent. What would you say, brother? Yes. No pressure. It's not like I've got a gun to your head and forcing you. Yeah, yeah, of course, yeah. Of course, summarize their belief, isn't it? That's excellent, excellent, guys. Summarize it, check, because a lot of people come into Islam, the world's fastest growing religion, but a lot of people leave Islam as well. They exit as well. And a lot of the shahadas are like confetti shahadas. You know, they say the shahada one day, next day they're gone. And one of the reasons is, or what I've understood from dawah, one of the core factors is that they've not understood the shahada properly. If we understood the shahada properly, all of us here, if we understood it fully, the meaning and everything, and were attached to it, then obviously we're going to earn Allah's love and be close to Allah even more closer. Does that make sense? So the verse in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Muhammad, فَأْلَمْ أَنَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهُ وَاسْتَغْفِرْ لِذَنْبِكَ, yeah? Which means that know that none has the right to be worshipped except for Allah alone, and then seek forgiveness for your sins. So the fa'lam is whoever studied Arabic will know it's the fi'l amr, yeah, the imperative, the commanding tense. Like you have a uskut, ishrab, idhab, you know, these are commanding tenses. Allah is saying no, it's a command. You have to know what the shahada means, guys. You can't just have some guy, Japanese guy, just walks past the mosque, la ilaha illallah, but he doesn't know what he's saying, no meaning, nothing. It doesn't make him a Muslim. Yeah. So these people are saying the shahada in some cases, but they're not understanding the meaning. When you're going to take someone's shahada, take time to explain. This is the meaning of shahada. None has the right to be worshipped except for Allah alone. Yeah. And Prophet Muhammad is the final messenger of God, the servant and final messenger. Yeah? Explain it clearly. Make them come through as a solid Muslim, a strong Muslim. That's the idea. Don't just rush for these shahadas and I didn't call him the next day. I don't know where he is now. He's gone back to the gambling shop. Anything, you know, you don't want to go down that route. Yeah. So make it super strong. Have an action plan. Get in contact with them. You know, explain Islam is a religion of peace. Explain the 5 pillars, good character, good qualities. Be their companion, be their buddy in the beginning. Because I've noticed that as well from the dawah. When you join up with someone closely in the beginning, when you buddy with them and you support them from the outset, then they come through as strong Muslims, right? But when you leave them to their own devices, they go in their own way, you never see them again. No, don't be too, absolutely, no. Yeah. No, don't start. Absolutely. No, don't start with any of that, brother. Absolutely. All that should be right at the bottom of the list. Whether he's got a girlfriend, he's drinking alcohol, he's got tattoos, Don't mention any of this, right? You know, the Sahaba, they were drinking alcohol for so long, with so much time. Only when the revelation came, then they got rid of this stuff, yeah? And they were still the best Muslims. So don't concentrate on the bad habits. Give the person breathing space, give them time, give them energy, what they need, give them a lot of the love. You know, we miss this in Islam a bit, I think, nowadays, or generally as Muslims, right? The love element is very important in Islam. In Dawah, it's super important. We worship Allah according to love, hope, and fear. But, you know, we should be very loving. If you're not a very loving person, then your Dawah is not going to go far, guys. I'll tell you that now. Yeah, and it's a sickness amongst many Muslims, you know. They miss out on this element of this. You know, Allah is a Wadud. He's the all-loving. So keep this in the forefront. Compassion, kindness, mercy, love, all of it. That's what you have to inject into the new Muslim, the Shahada, the new Muslim's life. Fill them with that. Give them gifts. Take them for a coffee, a present, a dinner. Yeah, take them out. Nurture them. Bring them to the mosque. Bring them to the study circle. Give them books, Quran. You've got to be that link to the wider world, because they can't get Islam from other places, guys. If they go on the internet, what's the danger? They could do anything. Misinformation, brother. As a brother said, it's full of, the internet is a double-edged sword. There's loads of good, tons of good Islamic knowledge, but there's lots of bad stuff as well. It's a minefield. They don't know what to distinguish. How do you work out, you know, what is the true Islam and what is not true stuff? It's non-authentic, right? So this is the key thing I say with Shahadas. Please, brothers and sisters, really work super hard with the reverts. Inform them, you know, this is a covenant with Allah to worship Him alone. Take Prophet Muhammad as example. And now it's time for you guys to act, yeah? So, inshallah, we'll complete the course. We'll end here. If there's any few questions, we can entertain a few questions if it's related to Dawah. But what I want you guys to really focus and think about is trying to get those rewards of Dawah. Yeah, remember what I said earlier? Sheikh Ashfaq is very kindly set up a Dawah stall here at the mosque. You can join on Saturdays, 2 o'clock. Come here, give out some books, put into practice what you've learned. Have a discussion. You'll make new friends. Because there's one thing you'll do from Dawah is you'll make new friends. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with this. You'll make new friends. You'll share Islam. You'll get the rewards. You'll spend your time very wisely. We've got Meet Your Muslim Neighbor. We've got the volunteer forms here. Please take one. Consider filling it out. You can do their projects, activities, and I'll try to get you guys to join IRA as a volunteer as well. There's many options. You can just volunteer for the Dawah. It's all going on here, guys. Yeah, so race for these opportunities. Get the rewards. Inshallah, you'll be connected to the mosque. You'll be connected to the Quran inadvertently, because it's, as I mentioned, a lot of the Quran is about Dawah, stories of Dawah, so you're actualizing it. You know, as we know in Islam, the fruit of all knowledge is actions. Yeah, there's no point having all this knowledge now that you've learned and then you don't actualize it. So step up, take the action and do what's needed. So if there's any questions, brothers and sisters, I'll end here because I've spoken for a long time. I'm sure you might, if you have any questions, you're free to ask, and we can discuss things, inshallah. I mean, I want to hear your Dawah stories as well. So, wa alaikum salam.
What's your advice on if a non-Muslim walks into a mosque and asks to come in and she doesn't know what Islam is, she's not appropriately dressed? What's your advice on that?
She's not appropriately dressed. I mean, I've never had that particular situation occur, Sheikh Ashfaq, but the way I would approach it myself, it reminds me of the hadith of the man that urinated in the mosque, and Prophet Muhammad ﷺ didn't attack him, how way he's dressed or what he's doing, unclothing himself and revealing his private area and urinating in a place of worship, right? And the Sahaba were very bit hasty, they went to attack, yeah? And so I would overlook this personally in my context. If you can control your desires or whatever your situation, you don't want to get into any evils, but if you're a strong, good Muslim, you will overlook this and look at the greater good. Yes, brother.
I was going to just plan what you said there, pretty much. The sister's coming because you showed an interest. If you're going to say where you tell her that the way you're dressed is inappropriate for a message, she's going to be scared of Muslims and like that.
Yeah.
People, you know, so yeah, I agree.
Absolutely, you're going to scare her away. And you know, the only Islam she may ever get in her life could be from that mosque encounter. Her coming in is the only Islam that she can realistically ever know about, right? So you've got to give her that airspace, that time. Does that make sense, Sheikh Ashfaq? I wouldn't really, you know, I wouldn't even run to put a hijab on her head. Like I went to Cyprus, right? And I did an exhibition there. And they had in the North Cyprus, they had the mosque was there. Masjid, I can't remember the name of the mosque. It's a very big mosque, Turkish mosque. And then they had a box there. It's a bit different there because there was tourists coming in, right? And there was no real people giving dawah. So they had an option to put on a hijab or whatever. But I wouldn't force it on her. If she's walked in without their head covering, yeah, obviously, you know, it's going to be a rare situation. Not every time you're going to get a non-Muslim lady walking a mosque, yeah? It's going to normally be an invite, yeah? And she might wear a hijab before coming out of respect or manners. So you've got to gauge it according to the circumstances, etc. You gauge it as best as you can. Yeah. Yes, brother.
I think one of the things you should try to do is first engage in a conversation. Yeah, ask her what made her come to make it think.
Excellent. Excellent, brother, yeah.
And try to find out how easily.
Yes.
And always, I mean, yeah, it always turns up, you know, always turn the table, yeah, just, well, not turn the table, it's like, use that as an opportunity to discuss something.
Of course.
And, yeah, and also, like, share your views and her views.
Yes.
So, you know,
Yeah.
her views will be how she is dressed.
Yeah.
She feels that that's correct.
Yeah.
And that's fine, and it's like respecting her position as well.
Exactly, brother. I mean, that's very good. You know, it's that communication again that you mentioned earlier. If you basically, you know, if you open up the avenue of a good dialogue, yeah, and you're gonna, you know, give an opportunity to learn about Islam, carry it a step further. That's the key things that you want to be doing, right? I'm just going to quickly give you guys an opportunity to. Let me just put it here. New slide. I'm just going to put on the whiteboard on the TV screen my email. So if you can note it down.
I mean, while you're doing that, just rewind the table a bit.
Yeah.
What would you sort of say about when you do invite someone to take a shower, is to work at the word development. You know, they need to develop at their own pace.
Yes.
And not at your own, you know,
of course.
pace that you feel that's correct.
100%, brother.
I'm trying to understand, you know, another person's viewpoint, you know, where they're at.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
100%, brother. It's got to be.
I mean, an example is, you know,
Yeah.
say, you know, I went, you know, just train with like an Olympic athlete.
Yeah.
You know, their schedule is very high. And
Rigorous, yeah.
And obviously, if they want me to join their camp,
yeah.
you know, I've got to try, you know,
absolutely.
work at their pace.
That's you hit the nail on the head, brother. It's so important. You know, what our brother was saying at the front here, the brother from Doncaster? No, not Rotherham, not Rotherham. This lost it's going to lose the picture on the screen. So basically, yeah, I mean, this is the key thing. Give them space, give them time. You know, just build up a friendship. That's the key thing, and let them have breathing space. Don't rush them. Yeah, don't rush them into something that they're not ready for. Don't come with the rulings. That's the worst thing you can do. Don't stop drinking. Let them do whatever they have to do, right? In the sense that they might be doing sinning, but you're not to judge at that point. Your aim and element is to give them the Tawheed. Explain the Tawheed in clarity, yeah? Make it absolutely clear to them. We worship one God. This is the message of Islam. You should be devoted to it. And don't shy away from the prayers as well. You know, the 5 daily prayers, I would say get them on the 5 daily prayers from the beginning. Because if you procrastinate, if you leave it till it's later, they'll never really start it. So don't bring it too late. I've noticed that with reverts. If you tell them 3 months later and you're supposed to pray for after that, it will go through one ear and come out the other. From the outset, from the beginning, even before Shahada, I'll mention it. You become Muslim, you don't fundamentally change what you're doing now. You're still you're still David or whatever, but you need to do certain actions, and one of them is 5 daily prayers. You need to work towards this, so they're ready for it, sort of thing. So guys, brothers and sisters, my email address is on the board. m.chowdhury@ayera.org. So what I want you to do is just drop me an email. So note down my email, drop me an email. You can even do it now, later, whenever, and say you would like to volunteer for Ayera. I'll tell you the roles. We've got some amazing roles. Don't forget Sheikh Ashfaq and the mosque as well. I don't want you guys just to, what's the word you say, like, trying to think of the word when you hunt someone, headhunting. I'm not headhunting just for Ayera. Yeah, yes, Sheikh. I'm not headhunting just for Ayera. I'm saying Sheikh Ashfaq needs volunteers as well. You can volunteer for him. Ayera. There's nothing to stop you. Dr. Noshat, he needs volunteers for Meet Your Muslim Neighbour, MYMN. Excellent organisation. We've worked with them in Liverpool. They're in London. They're a brilliant organisation as well. And join Ayera as well. So volunteer for everyone as you can. But in Ayera, the roles are basically, we've got new Muslim mentors. That's a role I want you guys to think about. So new Muslim mentors is where you simply teach a new Muslim the basics of Islam over the phone or over WhatsApp or Zoom. However you want to do it, guys, you can do it. you can basically become a volunteer, and we'll train you on how to do the mentoring. There's an online course that you do, so you won't get me speaking for another 2 hours. You'll get a free course that you do online. You fill in a couple of forms. You, inshallah, go through the process. If you're accepted on the process, then we'll accept you as a volunteer, and you can start mentoring a new revert. Yeah. The other role is the street da'i. So you can do the street dawah role, yeah, which I think our brother here, we're going to try to join you in Sheffield, inshallah, yeah, and then eventually grow out to Doncaster. It's up to you how much you get a team or whatever you want to do. There's online roles as well. You can do Facebook dawah. If you've got a Facebook account, you can give dawah online. So you can be giving dawah to people all over the world, yeah, Singapore, Philippines, Australia, wherever they're based, right? So there's loads of roles in our era. And tell your family and friends as well, wherever you guys are in Blackburn. So it's m.chowdhury. I'm going to spell it out because I know some people are listening on the radio. Is that right, Sheikh Ashfaq? Yeah, so it's M for Mike, dot, C for Charlie, H for Hotel, A for Alpha, U for Uniform, D for Delta, H for Harry, H for Harry, A for Alpha, R for Romeo, Y for Yankee, at iera.org. But don't panic if you didn't get the address. Just go to the IERA website, send an email to the info box, say that Brother Murtaza mentioned voluntary roles in IERA and you would like to step up and join in the voluntary role, and we'll get you hooked up through the onboarding process. Very simple, we'll get you on board and you can start giving dawah, inshallah. Ta'ala, may Allah write it in your scales. And I just wanted to say, if there's no more questions, is there no more questions? I think there's no more questions, right? Oh, one question from the brother. So one of the things you could do, brother, is what I mentioned. You can become a new Muslim mentor, yeah? A new Muslim mentor that basically gives them the teachings of Islam. So you can teach them through mentoring. Because the shahada that you're talking about, it might not happen right in the middle of Blackburn. It could be in Liverpool or Southampton, wherever it is. But you could be mentoring that revert as a volunteer, just teaching them Islam over the phone if you want.
Along with Dr. Moshe.
Yes, yeah.
We're actually thinking of setting up an organisation.
Brilliant.
For weekly meets or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know whether, I could from Preston.
Yeah.
Is that a good idea, do you think? Do you think there'll be many people?
That's an excellent idea, brother. I mean, what organisation? A charity?
Literally, we've got premises which we can just open up for people to
Yeah.
come. They might be feeling lonely because they might have lost many friends.
Mm-hmm.
And if nothing else, they might learn something, even socialise once a week, once a month, something like that. So,
I mean, what I would recommend, or not, it's not a definite piece of recommended advice, but think about a charity maybe. Because my vision, if you like, or my kind of dream or goal is to see, like I'm in IERA, a small charity, we've got about 100 staff globally, right? We're in the UK. I want to see many more IERAs appearing, just like we've got many more mosques appearing in the UK. If you guys can make it an official charity organisation, you know, run by the law, do everything, you have your governance, compliance. If all of that is set, yeah, then inshallah, you know, then the sky's the limit. You can start getting volunteers yourself and expand the operations, get fundraising. You can not just, see a lot of people say this as premises, we're going to open up this thing, and they just limit it to like a shop or something. But if you think bigger, if you think a whole organisation, a registered UK charity that can get funding now, then you can scale up things. You can scale up things hugely. You can get volunteers, you can get like offices, you can have a coffee shop or somewhere located in the city centre, fund it as well. You can grow exponentially with like a UK registered charity. So think about that as well. I mean, potentially, should IERA, I'm not making any promises to you, but I'm saying, should we be like, what's the word we say, like accepting of this work, yeah, that you want to do, then we can try to give you advice and assistance as IERA. I'm in contact with Dr. Noshad every month. I really trouble him with a phone call, right? I call him up at the end of the month. I see how's the dawah going and stuff like that. But we can speak more about that if he wants to do the org, and I speak to my manager and get permission that we work with you guys. Then on some of the things, inshallah, potentially we could give you advice, governance, compliance, policies, all the nitty gritty stuff that's taken us years in IERA. We just share it with you guys. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of Islamic organizations kind of lack in this area, and that's why they run into trouble. They don't get very far. The government's on their case. A charity commission can stop them, stop their funding. You see these problems appearing with Muslim orgs, yeah? But we have been very robust in this work. So we've been very careful over the years. We have a governance consultant, like a company, legal consultants. It's all running in the background to keep the engine going so that we can, you know, we're in the UK doing dawah. How do we do it? You know, there's certain things that you can do, certain things that you cannot do. So please speak to me more, brother, about that, inshallah. That's an excellent idea. You know, you're going to leave behind a legacy. When you're in the grave, inshallah, you're going to leave behind another whole ayira, basically, another whole meet your Muslim neighbor, another whole dawah organization. So the rewards are going to be multiplied, yeah, on your scales, inshallah. So yeah, we'll speak. Yeah, we've got, so on the ayira website, we've got a section on there which is for new Muslims. Yeah, so they can order like a new Muslim welcome pack. There's a few things that they can do on there, inshallah. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Also, in terms of what you've just been referring to,
yes, brother.
there is actually a registered charity in Latin.
Yeah.
It's just been launched in, when would you say, earlier on this year.
Yes.
And it took a long time to approve because there's a lot of areas basically.
Yeah.
Replicate like the masjid of the Prophet. And it's based on reverse sports on the dollars on the marathon sport. All of it is in Latin. It's up and running now.
Excellent,
it's
excellent.
Hope and Help. Basically.
Hope and Help. Okay, yeah. Excellent.
So if anyone wants to check that out, there's volunteers going in there as well.
Yes, yes.
We're actually leading revert sport there as well.
Oh, are you revert?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. I thought you were like a brother from like the Arab Gulf or somewhere like Syria or somewhere like that. I don't know. Yeah.
So yeah, we've got in contact with IU as well about.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, just drop Ira an email, brother. And if you want advice, we'll try to work towards what we can. I'm not making any promises today. I'm not saying we will advise you. There's stages to go through. First, we'll check you guys out. What is your charity about? You know, you have to write to us and say, no, this is what we do. This is who we are. We check you guys out first, that you guys are good in your operations. And then it's the next step. That can we advise? Can we do what can we do? Can we share policies and template documents and whatever work needs to be done? But certainly we want to support you as a Dawah team. Does that make sense, brother? 100%, yeah.
So yeah, it's basically just whether there any volunteers or anything like that that they start as well. But,
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right what you're saying. It's better to have like a
organization, yeah, because then you can scale up things quite rapidly, you know. And funding is from Allah, you know. Whatever people give, you can build on that. You know, there's advice on fundraising as well. Once you scale up, you can start to do bigger projects, inshallah. Yeah.
And just a question. See if like someone does want to give dawah.
Yeah.
Well, say for instance, he might not be praying, he might not be
practicing. Yeah.
Yeah, fully practicing. And
Yeah.
Say, listen to music, watch music. I mean, obviously, again, I don't know if it's the WhatsApp from shit down,
Yeah.
You've got to be, you know, you have to wait some question. Look, you're trying to get dawah, but you do X, Y, and Z. I mean, what advice do you give then?
I hope I'm answering it correctly, but like one of my best friends in Ayera, he's a colleague of mine. He was actually given dawah from a non-practicing Muslim himself, and he became practicing, and he's like got a position in Ayera as a staff member, and he's fully immersed in dawah. He's doing dawah projects. He actually heads the online presence in Ayera, or the Facebook chat system that we've got. He's the manager of that whole system. So the point is, anyone in effect can give dawah, whether they're practicing or non-practicing. Does that kind of make sense? Obviously, my answer is going to obviously be, it's better you're a practicing person to get the rewards from Allah, to please Allah, to get closer to Allah. That's the aim for every person, for every Muslim, yeah? But I wouldn't necessarily, because his friends were like, they were not practicing. They were like quite ignorant about Islam, but they just mentioned to him, you should read the Quran or something. They just said something in passing. He heard it, it stuck in his head, and then he researched, looked into it, and he became a practicing person. Maybe they're not practicing yet, but does that kind of answer your question, brother? Yeah, I would keep the door open. You'll be surprised, yeah. You'll be surprised at who or how the dawah happens, you know. If we don't do it, trust me, others will step up, you know. If you're not giving dawah, someone else or something else will be giving you dawah. It's never in a vacuum. You've got to be quite active in this whole game, if that makes sense, the whole dawah field. You've got to try to volunteer, get the rewards, step up, just come out of your comfort zone. Aim for those rewards and you'll get blessings, inshallah. So I think we'll end there because we've gone on for quite a long time in the afternoon. Or we got another question, yeah. Yeah.
Not really a question.
No.
Elaborate on what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
Firstly, I feel it's a good point because I think sometimes there's gaps in our society. As society changes,
yes,
there are different gaps, different topics, and people need support nowadays. I think support is, you know, everybody looks towards the internet for support.
Yes.
And they look for online presence. But something like human support, it's very important.
It's very important. Yes.
As well as I think nowadays, unfortunately, mental health is on the increase.
Yes. Especially with the pandemic. Yeah.
Somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
They need coffee.
Yeah.
It's not so much about forcing them to become Muslim, or it's just having the idea that I went to see a Muslim,
Yes.
and they had a place for me.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I think that speaks more volume.
Absolutely.
Than actually just trying to say, well, let's talk about God. Let's
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're working at a different pace to what the person wants.
Yes. Yes.
And just being supportive. I think
Yeah.
the word supportive is very important.
100%, brother. 100%. That's a very good comment. Yeah. Very good comment.
I'll leave it there.
Yeah. No, that's a brilliant contribution. Excellent. Yeah. People need the kindness and the contact and everything. Definitely. Yeah. So Bismillah, Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalam ala Rasulullah. We'll end inshallah. Oh yeah, sorry, I missed out. Sisters, if there's any questions about the Dawah course or related to Dawah, new Muslims, anything like that, you can ask your questions now, inshallah. Somebody wants to ask a question, okay. Sorry.
Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
I just wanted to ask, like, most of the time, when we concentrate on giving dawah, aren't we just trying to make them become a Muslim? Because if you look at all the religions, like if you look at Christianity, Hinduism, they're all, to the one God. Because, Allah has revealed prophets throughout the ages, so
Yes.
the altar, so it's just the core is the same, but the structure is different, Like we have prayers and things like that, they have mantras, and Christians have something else.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to say is, if we just want to make them Muslim, then I just feel, if you want to stand out, then we have to do like how to make the person a good human being, because you can be a Muslim and you can still be like, you can have hatred, father, jealousy, and I mean all the diseases of the heart.
Yes, of course.
But then sometimes, like if you look at going back, like if you look at India, the history of India, there were these religious people came and they had like love and truth and so many values, and because of that, people flocked to them and people converted. I mean, like they were like living magnets,
Of course.
where you can see they were like, they were like, because of their goodness, the vibration around them was different from normal human beings.
Yes.
So, people wanted to be like that. So what I'm saying is, if, we concentrate on things like, because even after a person becomes a Muslim, they can have all these qualities, because we have such people even within our own families. So I was wondering, like, if I know it's very difficult to make even a person a Muslim, but if we concentrate on such things, when you have such things, how do you deal with the, because I don't know how to word it, but because even within families, sometimes, when they go for something, oh, I'm going to have an exam, don't tell the other person, because, they may be jealous and then they will jinx it, or something like that, the evil eye and things like that. So
Of course,
I was wondering, I don't know how to word this, but what I'm coming to is,
Yes.
we have to work on, if our guides or whoever inviting,
Yes.
they themselves, tell them like, you have to work on your hatred, you have to work on your greed. If you have these problems, how do you solve it? That's what I'm saying. If these things are, if we, teach people how to solve these as well, then we will see that people flocking to our religion as well, because this is what the Prophet and the early Sahabas, they had these qualities, whereas nowadays I don't see that we have these qualities. That's all what I wanted to say.
Okay, Jazakallah khairan. So it's not really a question, is it, sister? More of a comment.
So I was just saying, how do we do that? Because the question is, how do we teach, people to do these things, and especially if you want to attract, because we can say, quote from the Bible and all those things. We say Rig Veda said this, or James version says these things.
Absolutely.
And said, okay, so I said, how is your religion better than mine? Because they say, ours also like Christianity. You say that Jesus is a prophet of, God. We also have this. So how is yours better than mine? Like, will it make me a better human being? How do I solve, all these things? So what I'm saying is, do we have a solution for these kind of things, and can we teach it? That's what I'm
Okay.
saying. Thank you.
Okay, Jazakallah khairan. Thank you. That's fine. Now, do you want me to answer the question, sister? Because it's like a bit of a statement sort of question. Yeah, okay. So the way I understand things, sister, basically, I mean, I can stand corrected, but it's more of the sort of dynamics or the situation of the Muslims at this time. Obviously, the Muslims are not in a position of upper hand. If you look around the Muslim globe, the situation of the Muslims is that we are in a state of relative humiliation, is what one would sort of agree upon. Go back to the Allah, yeah. It all goes back to your question, sister, comment stroke question. It all goes back to loving Allah, pleasing Allah. If we truly pleased Allah as Muslims, if He really truly loved us, yeah, we wouldn't see this state of humiliation, right? If we were upon Tawheed and truly worshipping Allah correctly as He has prescribed it, not doing the shirk. You know, the scholars of Islam have made it abundantly clear. There's no confusion in this matter. But the gross manifestation of shirk in this current time is at an all-time high. Yeah, whether you think it's not there, whether you think it's there, whether you think it's imaginary, whether you think it's make-believe, the reality is that the Muslims are engrossed in shirk. Yeah, well, now I don't just mean the guy goes to the grave in India, Pakistan, he starts calling upon the dead, he's doing all-out major shirk, or circumambulating the grave of Fatima in Iraq or Egypt, whatever. I don't mean necessarily what seems to be, bowing to an idol. The shirk in the ummah is manifesting. It could be following your desires. That can be an example of shirk. And the scholars have said, when we turn back to Allah, all these other problems that you mentioned, the Muslims have got hatred and jealousy, and they don't get on with each other, and this disunity. It all stems back fundamentally to this whole thing about connecting to Allah. If we become connected to Allah, and I don't just mean us guys in the room here, I mean the Muslims as a whole, then these problems will begin to fix themselves. But there is like I mentioned earlier, there is a slow amount of Islamic resurgence. Muslims are becoming more practicing. Look at my own case story. Like I told you guys, 26 years ago, I was away from Islam in the sense of I was a Muslim, but totally not practicing. I didn't even used to like people that are religious. Yeah, I probably didn't like Muslims or whatever. And this is a total different character. And again, non-Muslims are coming to Islam. So when we turn back to the Tawheed and we free ourselves of shirk and we please Allah and die in that state, then you're going to see the answer to your question, inshallah. So again, it goes back to da'wah, sister. I really have to emphasize that. I know I talk about it a lot, but it goes back to da'wah to Muslims, da'wah to non-Muslims. When we start to increase in that cycle of da'wah, we're just going to, like the brother said at the front here, we're going to better ourselves. It has that reciprocating effect. When you start giving da'wah, it relieves you of this selfishness and you start to get the blessings in your life. So it's included in the solution. Yeah, worship Allah truly as He should be worshipped. Give the da'wah, be the best Muslim, good character, improve yourself, tazkiyah, all the things, tarbiyah, do all the things that we know are there. But unfortunately, a lot of people are very slow or not aware of doing these things. So it's for us to share and give da'wah and help the ummah basically. Yeah, so I do strongly believe Muslims need da'wah as well as non-Muslims. I'm not just saying da'wah is for non-Muslims only. There's both camps, like the Tabligh Jamaat. They do a lot of good work for the Muslims. Yeah, they've done loads of work specifying on the Muslims, focusing on the Muslims, bringing them back to the mosque. This is da'wah to Muslims. This is very powerful. This is very good. Yeah, and I'm very much for this as well. But it's in all the areas. Yeah, da'wah to Muslims and non-Muslims. And obviously, like I say, sister, this is the cause of our humiliation. Yeah, that we've turned away from Allah. The manifestation of shirk in the ummah is at an all-time high. We're not living like how we were in the golden ages, or when Islam had an honor, if you like, or a strength. Yeah, unfortunately, we're in times of humiliation. You go to Palestine and you see a certain situation. You go around the globe. You go to Burma. It just seems to be country after country. It never ends. You put on the news the next day, it's a new country, a new place, exotic place you never heard of, and the Muslims are being killed and raped and murdered, and the houses taken. It's this endless cycle, right? So we need to break that chain, inshallah. But I hope that gives you some insight and understanding of what the problems are. Yes, bro.
I don't know if this might help the question that Sid was posing. Yours was a very, very good answer. But I think one of the things that it's about trying to look at the commonalities between, when you pose a question like, what do you think about your faith and why is your faith your superiors out there, the Islamic faith, you know, and they come up with, you know, very good reasons and argumentations of why their faith is great. And it's about looking at the ones that aren't correct. You know, like, say, as an example, somebody might say, well, we read scripture. We say, okay, well, we read scripture. Okay, you know, well, let's have a look at your scripture. Let's have a look at our scripture. And just kind of like sharing the information.
Absolutely.
And not being so, you know, like, you know,
Dominating or
having it being too competitive.
Yeah, of course,
You know,
of course.
Just sharing information.
Sharing, yeah.
And you normally find that sometimes you're being less competitive. You know,
100%. Yeah.
Interested about hearing your viewpoint,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
your position.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. You hit the nail on the head. You need to, you know, bring down the barriers, be very sharing with the knowledge, open up to them. You know, take them as people that can learn from you, and you learn from them, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's the same like when Jehovah's Witnesses knock at your door, or used to knock at your door.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now write letters. Okay. Now, when they say, "Let me show you a scripture from my book," before you agree to seeing their scripture, you say, "Well, if I see one from your book, would you see one from my book?" And yeah, because obviously, yeah, they don't want to read your book.
No.
Okay, and then their barriers, I'm saying, then you can start quizzing them. Well, why won't you, you know, read mine? I'm willing to, yeah,
Read yours. Yeah.
Why aren't you willing to see mine?
Yeah.
What's so difficult about mine?
Yeah, exactly.
And,
Yeah.
Is it, you know, and then you can find out their reasoning.
Yeah.
But once you start reasoning with what's actually going on, you can see where the person's at.
Yeah.
You know, and hopefully, you know, allow for a more flourished conversation.
Absolutely. Good advice, brother. Very good advice.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, but that's good advice. I mean, this is all good interfaith work. You know, like I said, it'd be nice to do an exhibition here at the Blackburn Mosque here. This would be ideal because there's like a nice bit of space. You could put banners at the sides. I mean, that's the front of the mosque, isn't it? So you could put banners there. You could put banners here. You could have a few stalls. Let people come in. Whatever activities you do, you know, Imam can answer questions for non-Muslims. They can see the prayer. That's what we should be, open and inclusive to the people, so that they want to. So there's no barriers. Because again, a lot of people, or some people out there, they don't like to be preached about Islam. You know, they don't want a lecture or necessarily a big long stream of dawah, if that makes sense. But they want to come and observe, see things for themselves, and you'll be surprised. A person will come to your exhibition once, twice, 2, 3, 10 times. They'll come, and then after 20, 30, they may become a Muslim in the future. They just kept coming to the exhibition. They like what goes on there. You know, the Muslim food goes a long way. They like the Muslim food. You know what I mean? Samosas, whatever it is. They love all that. Honestly, guys, non-Muslims, they're a big fan of all this kind of stuff, right? They might not say it much, but they truly, you know, are attracted to these sort of things, right? And when it becomes a bit sticky, they get used to it. They see a lot of it. They come to it. These guys are the guys. These are the potential Muslims of the future, basically, right? And you want to focus on these guys. Focus on these sort of people that are coming to Islam and accepting, inshallah. But like I said earlier, there's loads of ways you can do dawah. It doesn't just mean street dawah is the only way. Don't get the wrong impression. Yeah, there's many ways. There's online. There's offline. Coffee shop dawah is good. If you can hire out a coffee shop and just give free coffees for a day, every time a customer walks in, the guy tells them that these guys are giving free coffees today, but you need to chat with them. So they sit at your table for 5 minutes. There's loads of ideas, basically. Yes, but yeah.
Like, obviously, we've got Tadribiyya Jamaat, but
The Muslims, yeah.
What about like doing the Tadribiyya Jamaat, but instead of like calling people to come to the masjid, like call people to Islam and knocking on people's door, non-Muslims?
Yeah.
Like, not put that canvassing.
So you can do that. Yeah, some people do that, brother. There's a brother in Ilford area, somewhere in East London. He basically does door-to-door dawah. So it's like the tabligh and he's from a tabligh background. So he's really experienced. So he's got a good little network. He goes door to door. Some people put booklets through doors. Some people knock on the doors, have conversations. Sometimes the non-Muslims open the door and they're like, "Where have you guys been?" Honestly, guys, you'll be shocked at the responses. Where have you guys been for the last 20 years? No one knocked on my door and told me about Islam. It's not what you guys imagine. It's not going to be some aggressive guy in his bathrobe. You've disturbed him. He's about to have a shower. It's not like how we kind of have these radios in our mind of what it's going to be like. You know, it's another form of dawah. Yeah, and there's, like I said, there's loads of different avenues that you can approach, and you can, devise and think about and come up with new ideas yourselves, guys. You're the future generation for the Dawah. You can think of new schemes, new ideas and ideas and stuff like, whatever you want to do, inshallah. Jazakallah khairan. Sheikh Ashfaq. Oh yeah. So tomorrow, the plan tomorrow. What time, Sheikh Ashfaq, would we do? 2. Oh God, we're heading back to London by that time. It's a bit too late. I mean, can we? What time will people be out in the high street? 10 o'clock? 11. So we'll come here, even if we get 1 or 2 conversations, it's still something, but we would come here for 11 and maybe go on till about Dhuhr Jamaat, I would say, yeah. But if people want to come a bit later, 12, they can come. But the other thing is, how many people, Sheikh Ashfaq, do we want to come to the mosque? Because we don't want like 50 people, isn't it? It's going to look too much. But 5, 6. So if 5 or 6 of you guys want to come tomorrow, 11 o'clock, we're going to have a Dawah stall, and we're going to give out some booklets, have some conversations. We'll do it for maybe a couple, 2-3 hours up until Dhuhr Jamaat. And then Sheikh Ashfaq, we need to head back, you see, because I have to drop the brother back in another town, and then I have to head to my town, back to London. It's a long journey. It's like 5 hours or something like that. So, but that's the plan, inshallah, if that works. Inshallah, yeah. Jazakallah khairan.
Are you giving this opportunity to the sisters?
For the Dawah, it's a bit of a